All right, a Monday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, and the Drake heading up until 2 o'clock. The next 4 hours, we've got you. We'll hear from Andy Reid. The Kansas City Chiefs go through their conditioning today. I'm assuming that's going to be indoors. Their first practice tomorrow, which may be indoors as well. We'll find out. That is open to season ticket holders. But the Chiefs arriving and reporting to camp in St. Joe yesterday. Stephen St. John arrived and reported to camp, I believe, yesterday as well. He will be there all of this week. We will have coverage for you. We'll hear from Andy Reid coming up later on in the 11 o'clock hour, what he said yesterday as the players got there and beginning camp. And the next time we'll hear from Andy Reid, this week, they'll be finishing up practices and things like that. So we'll hear from Andy Reid coming up at 11 o'clock. Joel Penfield at noon. Mick Schaefer at 1 o'clock. 913-912-4810. Hopefully everybody was able to stay dry as much as possible, depending on what time you got to work. Sterling, you managed to avoid the rain, right?
I went and got a haircut this morning at
Looks great.
8
Looks good.
at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
I walk into the haircut.
Yeah.
And I can see the skies start to turn a
Blue
little
skies.
gray, but yeah, mostly sunny. It was nice.
Yep.
Waltz in there, have a little pep in my step.
Did you waltz in there?
I waltzed.
Did you sashay
one,
on
two,
out?
three, 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, I waltzed
for
in
you.
there. And Drake probably liked that one.
No, he didn't.
And then I'm getting the haircut. All of a sudden, I start seeing rain just pouring down. And I feel bad because this lady, she put her heart and soul into this haircut.
Is that right?
It looked incredible. Her heart and soul is represented by the
Was.
luscious locks that is my lettuce.
Was.
And I have to not waltz out now, try and sashay out.
Now you're like on a trot.
Yes, and trying to avoid said raindrops that are
Yeah.
pelting my dome.
It's crazy.
And did not happen. I got soaked, and my hair is now
Is it an Apple
Flat.
thing, or is it because the last 3 days, at no point when it started raining did it say that it was going to rain on my weather app.
correct.
And even as it's raining, it still had like sunny skies. I'm like, this is not a sunny sky. Like, I go to the radar and there's just nothing on the radar. I'm like, it's clearly raining very hard right now. And yet nothing on the. It happened Saturday. It happened yesterday as well.
Was it Wednesday?
Happened last. Well, Wednesday was that crazy, light show Wednesday night.
Yes,
Thursday
and
morning.
that was the one where I had to put the doors in the Jeep when it
that's right,
showed
yeah.
sunny skies, and I'm like,
Last
you're
Sunday-
lying, Apple.
Last Sunday before the All-Star break, the Royals had a rain delay of like an hour, and the whole time it's just downpouring. It says, sunny with no clouds inside. I'm like, I don't know. It's been like the last couple of weeks. I can't look at it anymore and trust what's happening. Typically, it's like, almost to the hour, to the half hour. It's like, it's going to rain at like 2:30. And be like around 2:30, it starts raining. Like, yeah, they nailed that. Nice job. Not anymore. So we'll see. I'm going to expect that any day that it's like 94 with the heat index of like 100, just expect it at any time just thunderstorms to break out. That's probably the way of going about it. But yeah, some rough storms today. Hopefully everybody is staying safe and dry as possible. Pyramid's coming out to the house later on today because after Wednesday night's rain, look up at the ceiling in one of the rooms. We're like, well, that wasn't there before. That's not good. And now we got this going on, so worried about what I may find when I get home. That's
not always ideal.
It's not great. So I got Pyramid coming out to the house today. Not looking forward to that, but I appreciate that it's Pyramid. That'll be out there later on today.
Because they'll be honest.
That's right. 913-912-4810 is the text line. 913-912-4810 text line to join us to be a part of the show, part of the conversation today. Let's get into the show. I told you how it lines up today with hearing from Andy Reid an hour from now, and then Joel Penfield, and then Mick Schaefer. The Kansas City Chiefs get their defensive end, their edge rusher, George Karlaftis, locked up for the next 6 years. Now, you hear a 4-year extension. It's like, okay, is that going to be a 3-year extension and 4 total years? But he's got 2 years left on his contract with this 4th year, and they already picked up the 5th-year player option, or the 5th-year option for next year, player option, this ain't baseball, 5th-year option for next year on the first-round draft pick, and now they give him the 4-year deal for $93 million. And when you start to break it down, like you hear it first of all, and I see 4 years, $93 million. Okay, I get it. 20-some-odd million dollars per year, $62 million guaranteed. And you start to look at and compare it to other contracts around the league and other contracts in the edge rushing market. And it's like, okay, I like what they did with that. I was looking at the Gregory Rousseau contract and sort of the comparatively speaking to that. And it's like, okay, I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Sure.
I think people in Buffalo will tell you that Rousseau's better than Karlaftis. I think people around here will say Karlaftis is better than Rousseau. The numbers show that Rousseau is, certainly this last year, Karlaftis is a year younger, has played one less year, and has essentially the same number of sacks. But if you're looking at like tackles for loss, Rousseau leads in that category.
Sure.
PFF numbers, Rousseau leads in that category. So this is the sort of comparison that I was looking at in terms of contract details and wondering what Karlaftis's contract would look like. I was, you know what? I shouldn't say I was surprised. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, it's more than Rousseau. I thought maybe it'd be right around Rousseau, and it is. Real close to what Rousseau got earlier this year. But I understand why Karlaftis would want more. He's a year younger. He doesn't have to sign right now because he can wait another year. Rousseau signed this year, which was after his fourth year, going into his fifth-year option as a first-round draft pick. Oddly enough, number 30 overall pick. Karlaftis, number 30 overall pick. 1 year younger Karlaftis is than Rousseau, drafted 1 year later. So a lot of those things sort of match up. And so Rousseau is going into his fifth year and asks for the contract that he does. Karlaftis doesn't have to sign this contract, doesn't have to agree to this contract. He can wait another year, maybe have a career breakout year. Trey Hendrickson's fourth year is when Trey Hendrickson turned into Trey Hendrickson.
Sure.
He felt like generic in the first 3 years. Didn't really know much of him until his fourth year in New Orleans, and then he signs that huge contract with the Cincinnati Bengals. And now holding out for even more money because he's had, 34, 35 sacks the last couple of years combined. So the fact that he did not have to sign it at this point, and he's a year younger, one less year played in the NFL, essentially the same number of sacks, fewer tackles for loss and overall tackles, and a lower number in Pro Football Focus than Rousseau. Again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all of that. Volume numbers for Karlaftis gets his sacks and number and stats and tackles for loss because he plays essentially 90%. He's got 8 sacks in the postseason out of 10 postseason games, so there's a little Frank Clark in his game,
Yeah.
little playoff MVS going on there. So you pay for that. I like the deal once you start to look at the numbers and the minutia a little bit closer and see that the 4 years, $93 million. Okay. But added on to the 2 years remaining, they've essentially signed Karlaftis to 6 years, $110 million. So they've given Karlaftis $18 million per year over the next 6 years for a defensive end that is an ascending player, that his best football was the second half of last season.
Yeah.
And if you think that's going to continue, you're talking about what could be a major bargain for Karlaftis. You also, even if it's not a major bargain, and this is where I think some people look at it and go, wow, it's a little too rich for me. Understandable if it's a little too rich right now. But in 2027,
Yeah.
let's say Karlaftis is just this. Good edge rusher, good defensive end, get you close to double-digit sacks. We'll see what Chris Jones looks like. We'll also see what Gelati looks like and maybe Omar Norman-Lott and things like that. But in 2027, George Karlaftis' cap hit is less than $16 million in 2027. I'm going to give you the cap hit of players, and I am not saying Karlaftis is better than these players at all.
Sure.
I'm not going to throw in Myles Garrett and Max Crosby. Those are different levels. But again, none of these players I am saying that Karlaftis is better than. I'm giving you an example of what these cap numbers are when we look at Karlaftis' cap number around 15 million, 16 million. In 2027, and by the way, Karlaftis will be 26 years old playing that year. In 2027, Brian Burns is 29 years old and his cap hit is $36.5 million. $20 million more a cap hit in 2027. Rousseau's cap hit is over $23 million. Montez Sweat's cap hit as a 31-year-old is $25 million. Milton Williams, that just signed with the Patriots, will be 28 years old, 2 years older than Karlaftis, and his cap hit will be $30 million. Hines Allen will be 30 that year as well. His cap hit is $40 million.
Wow.
In 2027. So while people may look at it and go, it's a little too rich for $62 million guaranteed, if you look at the cap numbers, if you're talking about in 2028, his cap number being $22, $23 million in 2028, that might be the price of a generic defensive end.
Correct.
And that's where it's like we look at it, what the number is now versus 3 years from now when the cap is expected to continually rise. It's not a given because we don't know what's around the corner. We didn't know 2020 was right there, that what was going to happen in 2020 with
But
the
you can't
pandemic.
plan for that. And if you plan
100%.
for that, then you're leaving money
100%.
on the yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't know what's around the corner, but we do know is that the cap has continued to rise and continue to go up, 10 to 20% every single year. And if that's the expectation, yes, they have some things to figure out next year and the year after that. And they've got to restructure Patrick Mahomes' contract next year because it's like
Sure.
$70-something million against the cap. They'll do that, which is perfectly fine. But what's done here is I feel like this is pretty close to a team-friendly deal for Karlaftis, how he structured it, how the Chiefs have structured it, and what his cap number will be in 2027, 28, and 29, combining of about $67-68 million against the cap, those 3 years combined, when Hines Allen cap hit is $40 million in 2027 alone. Again, I am not saying that Karlaftis is better, but would you rather have Hines Allen at $40 million or Karlaftis at $15 million against the cap?
I was surprised this deal came through when it did. I forget where I was, but I remember looking at it and my first reaction was, that is a lot less than I thought. My first reaction was, this is a good deal for Kansas City. We're talking about his age. We're now talking about the AAV. This is the addition, 4 years plus 2, that's 6 years. If you want to break it down in the 6-year category of the overall deal, right? Because that's how much time he has left now.
And typically people don't do that.
Correct.
You only talk about the extension. But go ahead, because I think this is important.
You're looking at guys for the AAV now around Bryce Huff, Chase Young, who you're still talking potential, Alex Highsmith, Dayo Odai. I'm sorry.
Dayo Oda, I'm sorry?
I don't know how to pronounce that last name. But the point I'm trying to make here is we're not talking Karlaftis.
Oda Yingbo?
Yes, thank you. You're not talking about in the same area as the Max Crosbys and the Bosas, which I didn't think he was going to get to. But still, I thought you were going to get more into the Milton Williams and the maybe Joshua Hines Allen-ish. But again, I think this is a great deal for Kansas City, and they needed to do this. And I know people will have their preferences of, well, why not McDuffie? I've brought this up many a time. Outside of Karlaftis, who do you trust as an edge rusher under contract going forward? We have no idea with Gelati. We hope for Gelati, but we have no idea with Gelati. FAU has not quite flashed. We've seen him flash in 6 snaps a game. We have not seen him seen him flash in a extended period, though. Charles Omenihu is on a 1-year contract.
Yep.
What's that going to look like? If he goes and balls out, he's probably going somewhere else.
Right.
If he looks bad, well, now you have another issue of you don't know what you have. Mike Dana, more than likely, might be on the last year of his contract here in Kansas City. So that means...
I would say he probably is.
That means Karlaftis getting a deal done was even more paramount than I think even cornerback. And so this was why I am so thrilled the Chiefs and Karlaftis were able to get ahead of this and get it done now. You're not having a situation where it's Trey Hendrickson and then all of a sudden he has to leave New Orleans. Because, again, that's the point that I think you made where what if Karlaftis goes out this year and has 14, 15 sacks?
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck trying to keep him.
You're not paying him this contract.
Correct.
You're not getting him for this money. You're getting him for close to Heinz Allen, $28 million per year.
And I know it's a risk. And what if he ends up being an 8-sack-a-year type of guy? But the point I think that we're kind of on the same page of is, I think even if he gets an 8-sack-a-year type of guy in 26, 27, 28 going forward, that money is going to be the exact about middle range for what those guys are going to be getting at that point. So Karlaftis is the guy who you trust, who, knock on wood's been healthy his entire career. He's great in the run game, gives you a ton of snaps overall, but I know he doesn't get as many tackles as Gregor Rousseau, as many tackles for loss. But he also has more passes defense. He gets his hands up there. George Karlaftis, he bats the ball down. So
why have I never heard that before?
I don't know. I'm a smart guy.
I don't know why
Jason,
that got me, but it did.
But
it shouldn't have got me the way that it did, but it did.
But he's young too, and so I am so thrilled. This was a move that I'm thrilled by. It might not work. You know my thoughts. I hated the Jawan Taylor contract.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes with large contracts I can be a little negative. I am thrilled by this George Karlaftis contract.
Well, and when you look at some of the other deals, and I mentioned 2027, and 2028 is when it kind of really kicks in because, and I say really kicks in, but that's a relative term because it goes to $23 million cap hit in 2028. I mean, Chris Jones next year has a $45 million cap hit.
Yeah.
I mean, in 2028, you're talking about Karlaftis with 23. In 2029, you're talking about Karlaftis at $25 million. And in 2030, you're talking about a cap hit for Karlaftis at $22 million.
This is, what do you think, again, to your point, what do you think an average edge rusher, an average, not even above average, again, I'm not saying Karlaftis is elite, but I think we can all admit Karlaftis is really, really good.
Yeah. And if you're talking about 9 sacks, 10 sacks per year in 2030, $22 million might still be a bargain for that guy in 2030. Because when people are like, he's paid as a top 10 defensive end right now. Okay, well, in 2 years, he ain't going to be paid like a top 10 defensive end. In 2 years, he's going to be paid like somebody that's top 15 or top 20. And that's why, one, I think if you want to play the pessimistic role and the glass half empty, you can say, boy, George Karlaftis kind of settled here a little bit. And if he really believed in his ability, wouldn't he have played one more year and then signed a bigger contract, had a great year, then signed a bigger contract? Is he sort of just taking the bird in the hand and going, oh, thank God, because this is as good as I'm going to get? I don't think so. He seems to be a guy that's driven by, now I've got this money, I need to go and prove that I'm worth it. I need to go and exceed what I was thinking I was going to be anyway. But I want to do this real quick. Are there any interns there in the control room, Drake? Drake says no. Okay.
Strangely, no.
Interesting.
They're working on.
Are they?
They're doing their show down there on Tuesday.
Oh, okay, cool.
Evening, and so they're working on getting all together and.
So they're doing their Tuesday show Monday at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, correct.
Tuesday night.
I believe so. Yes.
So they're doing a Tuesday night show planning Monday at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, you remember that, Jason, when you first started,
actually.
and you're like, we're talking for 2 hours.
I got to put.
We need
48 5 days worth of prep work for the 2 hours, and maybe 6 guests. Should we have 6 different people call in and have them as guests? I'm not sure, but let's see. What if one of them cancels? Maybe we get 7 just in case. Yeah, been there, done that. Writing out your whole monologue before the show, like you got 20 minutes, and I'm writing it out and typing it out.
Hello, my name is Sterling.
Pause.
For dramatic effect.
That's right. Boy, am I excited to be here. I know you're probably not. Pause for laughter. Pause for laughter. But anyway, I can't wait for these 2 hours. I bet you can't wait for them to be over. Pause for laughter. Pause for laughter. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. The reason I was going to ask is if people can jump on their Google machine. And this is... Sterling, if you want to jump on your Google machine.
I'm on it right now and have some fun facts about George.
Oh, great. I like fun facts about just people named George. Great.
Karlaftis. Third most batted passes for edge rushers last year. First most QB hits.
Is that what you called him?
Karlaftis, yes.
Karlaftis. Okay.
First in hits. 9th total snaps as an edge rusher.
First in hits, maybe play for the Royals. That'd be great.
Hey-o.
They need a little more hits, you know what I mean? They salvaged that game. But anyway, no more Royals talk this hour. But I want you to jump on the Google machine. I'll give you 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right. Can you tell me what the signing bonus was? You've got 30 seconds to find the signing bonus. All right.
Probably not. I'm assuming because you're asking for a specific reason.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. So now you got 20 seconds.
Okay.
Find the signing bonus. I wish there was interns around too. I would give them the same 30 seconds to find the signing bonus.
Yeah, I only see the his original signing bonus.
You get 10 more seconds.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be found.
Okay. You got 5 more seconds.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Not there.
Yep. Sorry. So there's a reason you didn't find it. 0 reporting right now. It looks like Karlaftis did not have a signing bonus. To me, that's a pretty massive development. I think that's a pretty big deal. And looking at that last night and checking again this morning to see if there's a signing bonus with Karlaftis, still not finding one. Let's play under the assumption that he does not have a signing bonus. On the other side of the break, I'm going to get into why I think that is a pretty big deal for the Chiefs, what the contract is that they were able to get done without a signing bonus, and how that impacts Trent McDuffie, and if McDuffie might be on a new contract by the time the Chiefs head down to Brazil. We'll talk about that coming up next. Well, I said it when we started the show, when we're talking about the rain that's coming down right now. After the show's over today, I'll be getting home and meeting with Pyramid Roofing because they're coming out to check out the roof. Last Wednesday night, we wake up, and in the morning, didn't even look, didn't even notice it, get home from work and look up, and there is a watermark on the ceiling of our bedroom, and that ain't great. And so immediately called Pyramid. Hey, got to get something done here. Need you guys to come out and check out the roof with a free roof inspection. They're coming out this afternoon, and I'm hoping that there aren't more water stains or water marks from the rain that came down today. If this has happened to you, pyramidroofingkc.com. Better yet, give them a call, 816-966-1101. I know that there are plenty of people that are dealing with the effects, the aftermath of Wednesday night's crazy storm, and there are more storms that'll be coming as well, just as this morning and the next couple of days as well. So if you have leaks, if you have missing or damaged shingles, if you don't know if they are missing or damaged shingles, heck, I wish I would have had Pyramid Roofing out 2 weeks ago because we talk about that peace of mind. How much is that worth? Well, I thought we were good to go. You know, a couple of years ago when they came out and did the gutters, everything was good to go on the roof. Well, 2 years later, probably should have had an inspection each and every year, you know? That's my fault. And so weatherproofing my roof would have been great to have done before this latest storm. But you know what? The next storm that comes, we know exactly what we're going to be doing because Pyramid Roofing is going to check that out and help us weatherproof the roofs to try to stay ahead of the weather because we know that there is a leak somewhere on the roof that's coming through, and that ain't great. If it's a broken tile, if it's shingles, whatever it might be, the roof age, we've had gutter issues. They knocked those out and were great to work with as well. So, again, it's locally owned and operated, Pyramid Roofing, commercial and residential. Stay ahead of the weather. Free roof inspection. See what's actually going on up there because you don't want to wake up to even more watermarks on the ceiling and go, well, now it might be a little too late to get the roof fixed and protect the ceiling. Maybe now we've got to replace some things on the ceiling, which is not something I'd be looking forward to. PyramidRoofingKC.com. Give them a call, 816-966-1101. Just as I did, they're coming out today, and they will make sure to get that roof inspection for you as well. Again, PyramidRoofingKC.com. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 816-966-1101, or PyramidRoofingKC.com. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. We'll talk with Joel Penfield coming up at noon, talking about George Karlaftis, the contract for him. There is some breaking news in the NFL, though. We can't say it until the sounder plays. It's a rule. There we go. It's breaking news. It came out about an hour ago. I'm just seeing it right now, so breaking to us. And that is the Tennessee Titans, what will be backup quarterback this year, Will Levis, is out for the season. He is undergoing shoulder surgery and will miss the 2025 season, an injury he suffered apparently last year in September. Went through the offseason, did not have surgery on the right shoulder. Apparently he aggravated it later in the season, chose rehab, rest in the offseason, and now gets to camp and decides he is going to have season-ending shoulder surgery. Now, make no mistake, Cam Ward was starting game number 1 for this Titans team.
Yeah.
Okay. This is not now Cam Ward moves into the – no, Cam Ward was going to take the number 1 reps, as he had been doing in OTAs and minicamp. So Cam Ward will be your starting quarterback. Will Levis is not the backup quarterback for the Titans. We'll see. But interesting news there. I'm not sure – boy, if they didn't draft Cam Ward, if they took Travis Hunter and Will Levis didn't have shoulder surgery right after the season was over, and now you're going into the year and he's like, oh, by the way, my shoulder is not working anymore. I need to have surgery on that thing. That feels incredibly unserious as an organization that you wait that long to finally decide shoulder surgery. Like that long. You re-aggravated at the end of last year, and it is now July 21st. And you're saying, now I have to have surgery to be out for the year.
That's longer than they waited to draft him.
100%. Drake is on fire, by the way.
Yeah.
Shout out to a text we got earlier in the show that said, Karlaftis locked up for 6 years, Rashee Rice only 30 days. I think that text came in from Drake.
I had an audible. You heard someone just audibly make a noise on air.
Yeah,
that was
right.
me when I saw it, and
Absolutely.
I had to move the mic away.
Yeah.
Because it was not in
Right. It was
part of the
pretty good.
conversation we were having.
It's pretty good. Karlaftis, 2 years left on his contract, gets locked up for 6 years. Rashee Rice, 2 years left on his contract, gets locked up for 30 days. So roughly the same that the Chiefs had been working on. But, I mean, Will Levis and the Titans organization and the doctors, and the
Yes.
trainers, like how do you get to this point? Again, it probably doesn't matter, but if Cam Ward is not good or Cam Ward goes down, now you don't have a good enough backup, which may not be the worst thing for the Titans. It may not be the worst thing for them to have a top 5 pick yet again. For them with a rookie in Cam Ward, still on his rookie contract over the next, he'd have 4 years left with the 5th-year option after this year. Probably not the worst thing for them to, tank a little bit. But still, this is an organization now that has a quarterback that they drafted and now is out for the season with Will Levis, but Cam Ward's the starter anyway.
Who do you blame? If Will Levis, no one wants to have surgery.
I would say his representatives, doctors around him, and those giving him advice, if they said all this is going to take is rest and rehab and you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And then 7.5 months later, or 7 months later, well, depending on when he re-aggravated it.
Sure.
So, let's just say it was January 1. You're looking at 7 months later. He decides that, well, now I have to have shoulder surgery instead of just getting that done right when the season was over.
I mean, September 30th is early in the year.
And that's when it happened. Apparently, he re-aggravated it later on in the year.
Yeah,
But here's the thing. If you re-aggravate it, then are you saying that it's something that can continue to happen until you get that thing fixed? Is it a risk that, hey, if we open up that arm, it may not ever be the same? Anytime you're going in and opening something up and surgery, you run the risk of something else happening along the way. Now, these are well-paid doctors. Sterling, the more money you pay for a doctor, probably the better care you get. It's kind of like a lawyer, almost.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's why it's why they only go to like the best doctors. Like
now
these
you're going
NFL
to tell me steak prices are going to be different too. Come on now.
Depends on if you go LeBron or Kobe. Which steak price you getting? Little Wagyu along the way. Little Swagoo along the way. All right, there's the news out of Tennessee. Will Levis out for the year. Cam Ward's going to be their starting quarterback anyway. There you go. I mentioned the signing bonus that I had you look up. I gave you 30 seconds to try to find the signing bonus for George Karlaftis, and you couldn't find it, you dummy. He's so stupid. Why can't you use the Google machine? Just Google George Karlaftis signing bonus, for 2025, not in 2022 in his rookie deal. So we know that signing bonuses are there so that you can distribute that guaranteed dollars over the course of the contract up to 5 years. So that means, if he would have signed a $20 million signing bonus, you could throw $5 million onto the cap this year and then $5 million the rest of the years to spread that $20 million out. They did not give him a signing bonus. They increased his cap hit this year by $1.3 million. So from 3.8 to 5.1. So $1.3 million increase in his cap. They had $20 million of cap space before. Now they're sitting at, 18.7. So they've still got plenty of cap space. We know that when they talk about, keeping the lights on, that's what I like to say, is when Brett Veach says, how much money they need throughout the season. I like to call it, just to keep the lights on, to run the business. Guys getting elevated from practice squad, you make a trade, you need about $5 million when you start the season, or you have to maneuver some things. Trent McDuffie's cap hit is $4 million this year. His cap hit next year is $13 million on his fifth-year player option, 13.6, that they've already picked up. Without a signing bonus for George Karlaftis, and the money the way that it is, with the way that the cap number is structured the way that it is, again, I think this is Karlaftis giving the Chiefs a team-friendly deal, because he could have said, I want $24 million per year starting next year on a 3-year extension so that in 4 years I'm under contract as age 24, 25, 26, and 27. I am going to be 28 years old because his birthday's in April. He'll be 27 if he signed that contract, a 3-year extension, so 4 years left on his deal. If he signed that contract, he would be 27 years old when he was a free agent. He could have demanded that. And the Chiefs could have said, well, we got you for 3 years anyway. We got you this year, we got the 5th-year option, and we've got the franchise tag year. So could be part of the negotiation that's there. And they said, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to buy out 3 years of free agency. So we know we've got you this year. We've got your 5th-year option, and we have your franchise tag year. We're going to add 3 years, and we're going to give you $60 million guaranteed. All right, $62 million you're going to get guaranteed. That is, George, you've made life-changing money. Now you're making generational wealth. Now you are making your family changing money. Your grandkids and your grandkids' kids. You guys are now going to be set for the rest of your life and their life and their life and their life if, you invest properly. Plus, when you're done with this contract, you'll be, 29 years old? 30 years old? You'll still be a 30-year-old defensive end that made, at that point, maybe $110 million in your career.
Yeah.
And still 30 years old because he got to the NFL younger. That was one of the parts of his value. Same thing with FAU. That just hasn't turned out, for him so far. But right now, the Chiefs are about $35 million over the cap for next year.
I see a couple different numbers.
Well, it sort of depends. I mean,
Over the cap says 60.
Well, you know what? It's 60. You're right. It's 60 because, they've got the 15. Yeah, 45. So what's happened is at Spotrac, they took the $15 million 5th-year option off the cap for next year, and over the cap has kept that $15 million. I bet if you look at the Chiefs, I bet George Karlaftis shows up at $15 million or so.
He does show up at 15 for next year.
Spotrac doesn't have it at 15 for whatever reason.
And Mahomes is at 78.
Yeah, 78. And that'll be restructured. Juwan Taylor will be released. They'll save $20 million there. So from the $60 million, they'll be down to 40.
Correct.
They'll restructure Chris Jones' deal. There's no way they're going to have a $44 million cap hit next year for Chris Jones. I can't imagine that would be the case. So they might be able to bring the $70 million cap hit from Mahomes down to, let's say, 40. So that would be, $35 million? Now you're looking right around what the cap number is going to be for the Chiefs. And then whatever they may do with Chris Jones to save a little bit more money there. and then whatever they can roll over this year, because, again, they're sitting at $18 million under the cap currently. But the signing bonus thing, I think, is interesting because you're not looking at any of the money being pushed down the road, being kicked down the road. And they didn't front load this contract. What I find to be interesting is with the signing bonus that they could give Trent McDuffie, they could front load his contract with a signing bonus and take that to like $20 million this year for McDuffie instead of $4 million. Now you've added 16, maybe a little less than that, but just around. Now you've added $16 million. Now you're at that $16 million you've added to the cap. So you're about $2 or $3 million still under the cap that you can, quote unquote, keep the lights on. And that will help mitigate what the cap number might be down the road. For instance, Sauce Gardner. His cap number this year is 9.4, still on his rookie deal. His cap number next year is 12.25. In 2027, his cap hit jumps up to 23.7. Then it jumps up to $29 million in 2028. Then there's an out. He's at $39 million cap hit with only $2.7 million of dead cap.
Yeah.
They could save, $36 million. Or restructure at that point because Sauce Gardner will be 28 years old.
Yeah.
He'll still be younger. If you structure it like that, and that cap hit of 9.4 for Sauce jumps up to, $15, $16 million or $20 million, I should say, you take $11 million away from those last 2 years before the out. So you're talking about 28 dropping if you split it, 28 dropping to 23, 23 dropping to 19. You could have cap hits of 20 this year, front-loading it, and then 12, 19, and 23 for Trent McDuffie. In a way, with the signing bonus and then some of the things where you can front-load it with the signing bonus and then, spread some of that money down the road too. But Karlaftis did not have a signing bonus, which I think then opens up the pathway for Trent McDuffie and the money that's left over to maybe get something done with him before they head down to Brazil.
I never understand why players would not want it front-loaded. Because, for example, if you're Sauce Gardner, you're probably not seeing that final year of the contract. That money's all fake money then at that point. There's a chance.
He got $14 million in a signing bonus and $85 million guaranteed.
But that final year of the contract, you're probably not seeing that money.
No.
It might get restructured, whatever it is, but that's not real money. It's like Tyreek Hill's contract with the Dolphins. I never understand why players would not want to see it more up front, because if your cap hit then that final year is $23 million, you're probably going to see that money. They're probably going to keep you. You're probably going to see the entirety of the life of that contract. So if I were McDuffie, you probably would want to see it more upfront now, because in that final year, instead of having a $35 million, $40 million cap hit, it's probably going to be 28, 25, 27.
Yeah.
There's a better chance of you actually seeing that money roll into your bank account versus a restructure or a moving on period.
So Sauce Gardner is going to get, in cash, Sauce Gardner will get $15 million this year. He will get $26 million. These aren't the cap hits.
Sure.
So the cap hits are different. Cap hit next year is like 12.25.
Sure.
But he's going to get $26 million in cash next year. He's going to get $25 million after that. And then, some of that money that's there that probably won't happen is like $30 million when you're looking at the salary. They also have one void year for Sauce Gardner, and the Chiefs aren't going to do that. But that void year is just a $2 million dead cap hit. So thought that was interesting in 2031 that they added a $2 million dead cap hit void year for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's clearly a reason the Jets wanted to do that. But if you structure it that way, there was an opportunity here, because if Karlaftis took a $25 million signing bonus, well, that's a cap hit this year, okay? You divide that by 5. So, you're looking at adding $5 million to the cap this year. That $5 million now could go to Trent McDuffie, or $10 million to Trent McDuffie. If Trent McDuffie gets a bigger signing bonus, you can front load some of that and disperse it, whichever way you want down the road. I think it's interesting that there is no signing bonus for George Karlaftis. And we haven't seen many signing bonuses for the Chiefs. It is something that they have not done much. And that's where we talk about the quote-unquote, how cheap is Clark Hunt. Not wanting to do void years, the funny money there, and not wanting to do large signing bonuses. So how do you not have a large signing bonus but still have some of these guaranteed dollars? Like Patrick Mahomes' signing bonus. Wasn't a big signing bonus for a guy that signed for $500 million. Yeah. Chris Jones, not a big signing bonus. Karlaftis, no signing bonus. Trent McDuffie, maybe they change it there because Karlaftis did not get a signing bonus. What was Trey Smith's number? Did Trey get a signing bonus on that? Trying to look. $17 million signing bonus for Trey Smith. So again, Trey Smith got $17 million in a signing bonus. Karlaftis got zero. According to reports.
At least that we've seen
this
so
is
far.
based on the reports that we've seen. And I would guess in the last couple of days, we probably would have seen something if he did get some sort of a signing bonus. So I think that's interesting to keep in mind as it relates to Trent McDuffie, because now that Trey Smith is done, a couple days later they get Karlaftis, gives you a lot of leeway, a lot of runway before the season starts to get something done with McDuffie. So you have that money locked in for what you know next year and the year after that and the year after that's going to be, which means now you can start structuring your contract renegotiation for Patrick Mahomes, what that's going to look like next year, because you're not going to pay him $80 million cap hit. So I think that's an interesting development. I like the move for the Chiefs taking care of Karlaftis. They got in early. Early or late, McDuffie's going to be pretty damn expensive. And maybe McDuffie wants to reset the market if he's going to sign 2 years before, or at least a year before he goes into his, fifth-year option, where essentially next year it's either you sign him or he's probably going to hold out. Yeah. He's going to want top money. He's earned it. Karlaftis is not one of the top defensive ends in the league, but I think the fact that he gave them 4 years on top of the 2 years remaining is a pretty team-friendly deal, because that also allows them to move some money around if they want to restructure and kick the can down the road. They have the ability to do that with that $23 million cap hit in 2030. They've got some maneuvering that they could do with George Karlaftis. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. All right, men, if you're out there and you happen to be suffering from erectile dysfunction, Heartland Men's Health is here to help. They have been successfully treating men in the Kansas City area for a while now. Some men wait months, even years, to figure this thing out, and there is no reason to do that. It can cause depression, it can cause arguments, breakups, lead to divorce, and other issues that may take place even, in your work life. If that's something that you're stressed about and thinking about, you're not as productive as you have been in the past. It can be a relationship destroyer. Maybe you've tried the pills or the herbals and they have failed. Well, Heartland Men's Health has treatments that work when that happens. In fact, they have treatments with success rates well over 90%. Schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99. That includes a medical consult with a licensed medical provider, a T, and that PSA test. And if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if the test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. If it does, well, there you go. They've got an expert staff with 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence, between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Text says, good to see you boys are putting that CPA education to use. About time, you know what I mean? I've been trying to find a use for it, you know? A little accounting, you know what I mean? Let's you go to school, you go to math school, eventually you want to use it, you know what I mean?
I'm counting on you to be correct on these numbers. Yeah.
I mean, Drake is pretty disappointed. Like it's a
Drake
mixture of
hated
disappointed.
that.
Like Drake almost. Here's what I think is
I
happening.
heard him through the
here's-
glass hate that.
I'm gonna be honest with you here, Sterling. Okay, because typically I would find a way to because you didn't see it. I would typically find a way to make it the worst possible scenario
Yeah.
that there is for you. But Drake wanted to hate that, but he also had a little smile along the way.
little.
Yeah, he had a little smile. He wanted to
little
hate
smirk.
it. He wanted to hate it, but then he thought, I can't help it. I want to hate it, but my natural reaction is to give it a little smile.
I can't account for it.
So there you go. So well done, Sterling. You know, you caught me off guard with the car
Carswatis.
With the batted passes.
Yeah, I tried to
Pretty good.
team that one, and I don't think it's really
Okay.
caught on, considering my own co-host has not
I didn't hear it.
even ever hear
I've
it
never
yet.
heard that before.
So
Yeah. Did you hear the Jack Caglione got a 2-run double? You know, the lumberjack.
TM stole it.
Damn it.
If you say TM, it's yours.
Is that right?
That's how it works.
Okay. I feel like I should get a helmet sticker for the lumberjack.
If I get one for Carswatis, we can go 1 for 1.
Oh, okay.
Where is the helmet?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the one that's supposed to get it.
I-
Dylan's last day, you said you were going to get it.
I thought I was. I was promised a helmet, and it's not here.
Okay.
It's probably my fault for not following through.
You think?
Probably.
I'm going to say that it's probably your fault. I think you're probably right.
I don't want to keep asking because then you feel bad. I feel like Nick Saban's going to come out and go, "You're not going to get it, so quit asking."
I don't know. We need Urban Meyer to show up so we can get some helmet stickers. All right? That'd be great. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, and the Drake heading up until 2 o'clock. An hour from now, Joel Penfield, One Royal Way podcast. We'll get his thoughts on the Royals losing 2 of 3 to the Marlins. Unfortunate because, there was some optimism and some hope coming out of the All-Star break, and you've got a Marlins team that certainly is, they're not the Rockies or anything. They're 6 games under 500, and the Royals are 4 games under 500, so it ain't exactly like there's a massive difference between the two. So they lose that, and now they head to Chicago, taking on a team that is battling for the Central, and they have lost in the last 10 games. They've lost 4 games on the lead. Milwaukee, with their 10-game winning streak, has now caught the Chicago Cubs. So the Cubs going with a bullpen game tonight. Noah Cameron taking on the opener, Ryan Brazier. Tomorrow it looks like the Royals may have a bullpen game, depending on what happens tonight with Noah Cameron, as Matt Quattrero talking about yesterday, that with Bubic and Cameron, the next 2 days would depend on if they would need to bring somebody up, maybe a Rich Hill, Dick Mountain, maybe Keuchel, whoever. But if they have guys available, they could have a Johnny Holstaff tomorrow. Well, if you've got a Johnny Holstaff tomorrow, maybe you take advantage of the Cubs going Johnny Holstaff today with an opener. Not necessarily Johnny Holstaff, but an opener and a bullpen day for the Cubs. Can you do that? We'll find out if they can do that or not, but it's getting closer and closer. They're now 9 games away from the trade deadline, and they are now 5.5 games out of the wild card behind 6 teams. They were at one point 3.5, and only 3 teams ahead of them, and they've now lost 2 games in those standings, and 3 other teams have surpassed them on their way to trying to win the wild card. That's tough to do, to be able to overcome that, especially when you've got decisions that need to be made in the next couple of weeks, in the next 10 days. 913-912-4810. So we'll talk with Joel Penfield coming up at noon about that. Let's hear from Andy Reid. Yesterday, the Chiefs report to St. Joe, report to training camp. Today is their conditioning tests. There will be some people who sees their breakfast, after they do their conditioning test today. It's not open to the public, and it's also, I'm guessing, indoors. But Andy Reid started off yesterday with his press conference. About 12, 13 minutes he met with the media, but gave his opening statement talking about those that are on the PUP list, weighing in on Rashee Rice. Here's Andy Reid's opening statement. No and no. Any timeline? No. Any conversations? No. They are going to progress as normal with Rashee Rice, which I would expect that to be the case, that they will Rashee Rice, even if he's suspended, won't be suspended until the Sunday of week 1, I believe, is when you have to then, be away from the facility for however many weeks. And so, they've done this with other players that have been suspended before, and they go through the training camp, and he gets the regular reps. He'll play in the preseason, the same number of reps he would have played in the preseason. And then when it's time for suspension, he'll go away and maybe, go serve some time, depending on how the suspension is like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Then he should probably just knock all 30 days out, because then that would give him 2 weeks to return and get back into game shape, which he can't be at the facility anyway. So everything he's doing is away from the club.
Sure.
So, that would give him 2 weeks. We'll see what happens and what he ends up doing from that standpoint. But they are going to proceed as normal with Rashee Rice, knowing that at any time they may get the news that he's going to be suspended for a certain number of games.
That was the perfect time for Andy Reid to do the Nick Saban. No. And quit asking.
Quit asking. And that'll be the last time that really we'll hear. I would guess probably a couple of weeks may go by before there would be a, hey, Andy, any update from the league? Do you have an idea of maybe any timeline with Rashee Rice? Do you guys expect to hear something before this camp breaks or after preseason game number 1 or 2? There'll be another time when the media will ask Andy if there's an update, but probably not anytime this week.
Are you nervous about
Yes.
Christian Fulton? Because that was
I'm
undisclosed.
more worried about, we had a question on Sunday Sound Off about, are you concerned about Juwan Taylor being on the PUP list? And my response was no, because they're in a better spot this year than they were last year, and I'd like to see Jalen Moore play right tackle. Wanya Morris was there in Week 18 last year playing right tackle. So I'm perfectly fine if they get some looks at somebody playing right tackle that's not Juwan Taylor. And they're better equipped to handle that this year.
Sure.
Christian Fulton is a little more worrisome because that's your starting cornerback.
And
I know Juwan Taylor's your starting right tackle, but that's your starting cornerback. And we saw, Sterling, why they went out and signed Christian Fulton was because they needed that depth. And as you were saying,
it could be a plethora of reasons why he's out. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't know. But he's a guy who's missed a lot of games in his career. 6 games as a rookie, 13 games in 21, 11 in 22, 12 in 23. He did play 15 last year, which was great.
Yeah.
But again, that's kind of been the knock on Christian Fulton. It's not always been the production or the talent. It's been the some of the injuries. And again, that's also the Chargers, who we know the Chargers have not traditionally had the greatest health with a lot of their players. So whether it's medical staff, whatever it may be, who knows? But there seems to be some sort of correlation there. So you open him in Kansas City would transpire with him being healthy for the first time in his career, and this is not a great start, at least. Again, we don't know, but at least has my guard up a little bit here.
This is the thing that always would happen with the Chargers. Like every year, we would see the Chargers win the offseason, and then we'd get to training camp, and we get to the regular season, and it would be, oh, man, the Chargers, another injury. Oh, no, the Chargers they are getting killed by injuries. Well, yeah, because they sign injury-prone players, and they have guys on their team that tend to be more injury-prone, and they sign older players. So, shocker that if you sign guys that are older anyway, that they start to get injured. Also, guys that have had injury problems in their career, they get injured. That's not really a surprise. That is just dog bites man. Christian Fulton being injured this year, Hollywood Brown last year, it sucks. It's unfortunate how serious the injury was. That cost him pretty much the entire season. You had, 3 weeks at the end and then the playoffs, but an entire season of really ramping up with that chemistry with Mahomes and using him in certain ways. And obviously Rashee Rice, that was unfortunate, but Rice hadn't had those injuries. But Hollywood is an injury-prone player, and he got injured. Christian Fulton is a guy who's been injury-prone in his career, and he's starting the camp on the PUP list. Really shouldn't be much of a surprise, honestly. Just as the Chargers aren't unlucky with some of their injuries, they're just banking on guys that have been injury-prone not getting injured. And that's not typically a great strategy to have. And we'll see what happens this year with the cornerback spot. Because Jalen Watson's a guy that's battled injuries. He's toughed through some injuries, too. He played in the Super Bowl with a torn labrum against the 49ers. and then had the foot injury last year and came back from that. And, he's a guy that, they're clearly looking at to play on the outside opposite Christian Fulton if Trent McDuffie slides down on the inside. If Fulton or Watson are healthy, it does give you that insurance policy that you didn't have last year when Watson was out and you had to go to Williams and Najee Johnson. If Fulton or Watson are injured and the other one is healthy, you at least have that person playing opposite McDuffie that you would slide back to the outside and figure out the cornerback, the slot corner. Because last year you had McDuffie on the outside, figured out slot corner, and then Williams or Najee Johnson on the other side.
The one thing I will say about Najee Johnson, I don't know if a lot of people are going to like this or not, the Chiefs clearly value him a lot. They clearly have high expectations, or at least had high expectations for him. He was not great last year, which I think is fair to point out, but it's a little bit like the Tershawn Wharton situation where now it's a full year post-injury. Does he look more like the guy the Chiefs thought that he was going to be before the injury? Because, and again, who knows? I'm not going to say I have like super high expectations, but I do think it's fair to at least not write him off. Because I think so many people in Chiefs Kingdom have just written off Najee Johnson, and at worst, he's a good special teamer. I mean, at worst, he brings you value as a special teamer. But I do think, again, I'm not saying a starter necessarily, but can you count on him more? Can he look more like a CB3 versus last year, which was a CB5?
Yeah, and CB4 was straight out of low cash. Let's hear from Andy Reid. The George Karlaftis contract gets done. Andy Reid weighing in on the edge rusher for the Chiefs that'll be signed up until 2030.
That's already done, just so if you need some breaking news. That's a great thing, and he's a heck of a player, and he's done a great job here, and he's profiting from that. And our team also is profiting from him being around. So it's a win-win there.
Andy, what did you see from him late in the season last year? I mean, he's always been a consistent player for me. It was particularly late last year.
Yeah, well, he's a relentless player. I mean, that's what you get with George. He's smart, relentless. You can trust and know he's reliable. You can trust that he's going to be there and do the right things and go 100 miles an hour doing them. So, very well respected that way.
Coach, with Karlaftis, last week Trey Smith, today Karlaftis, how important was it for you as a coach to have these young core guys locked up for long-term deals?
Yeah, Herbie. I mean, it's great to have, great from a coach's standpoint to have that. The tough job is with each having to juggle all the financial part of it. But we love having that. Continuity is a big thing with your good young players, and Veach has done a real nice job with his group in the drafts, and so. But to sort all of that out, Chris Shea and the guys, they have to work through all of that, the money part of it, and they do a heck of a job with it. So, and it's an ongoing thing as you go. You've got to really have a good feel and a good plan for the future as you do it.
This is the consequence of drafting well. So, I mean, you want to draft well, then this is you're going to have to deal with paying good players. That's the tough part. If Brett Veach wouldn't draft as well, then he wouldn't have to sign McDuffie and Karlaftis. You could save some of that money if you just didn't draft.
Just draft worse.
Yeah, just draft worse and save some money. It's a smarter strategy, I think, to go about it. But, yeah, you draft well, and those guys come up as free agents, and you want to sign them, and then you need to continue drafting well. Because if they don't sign McDuffie this year, they would have a year where – they've got the fifth-year option for him. But also, what do you have in Noel Williams? And I'm not saying he's McDuffie because Noel Williams was the third-round draft pick, and McDuffie, you traded a third and a fourth-rounder to go up and get him. So there's a little bit of a difference there. They thought McDuffie was not the 21st player in the draft. They thought he should have been gone well before that, and it was worth giving up a third and a fourth to go and get him. But if you are surprised by Noel Williams, and if you believe on defense is a zero negative defense
weak link defense.
That's right, a weak link system, especially at cornerback. If cornerback and the secondary is a weak link system, and whoever the weakest link is, you're only as good as that, then if Noel Williams and maybe Najee Johnson a year. These are ifs. If this happens, if that happens, if this happens.
Now
if
it's like
that
now it's like
happens.
we're talking Royals baseball.
Yeah, it's like the it's like Justin Herbert, if man.
Yeah.
You know, if this would have happened, if that would have happened. You know, Captain If, and if Noel Williams, you know, plays well, and if Najee Johnson, year removed from the ACL, if Jalen Watson stays healthy and plays well, and maybe you sign him to a lower extension, does that give you the flexibility of saying Trent McDuffie's going into his player option or the 5th-year option? He's 5th-year deal. He's on the 5th-year deal. We're paying him, you know, $13-14 million against the cap, and that's what we're going to do. And then we'll worry about it after that with a franchise tag or signing him long-term. But, hey, we might be able to move on and spread this money elsewhere because we've got guys stepping up and playing better than we thought they would, just as we moved on from Ward because of Snead, and we moved on from Snead because of McDuffie. Can you move on from McDuffie because of insert name here? Right now, I don't see a prime candidate. If Noel Williams was a first-round draft pick that they took, and it was like, oh, wait, Noel Williams, this guy was, you know, one of the best corners. They traded up for him. Then you're like, all right, they're probably looking at Trent McDuffie and saying the pot is a little too rich for them, and they're going to have to fold and go to the next hand. But that's not the case when you draft a guy in the 3rd round. That's not somebody that you're going to rely upon to step up. Trent McDuffie was a guy that you were hoping would step up so you could move on from Charvarius Ward.
Yeah, but I also don't think that Snead was a guy they originally counted on. He was a 4th rounder,
100%.
right?
Yeah,
And
which allowed them to
Ward
move on
was
from
a
Ward.
UDFA.
Yes.
I mean,
100%,
trade for Parker Anger.
Yeah, they've been able to find the next guy so they didn't have to overpay for the current guy.
But I do wonder, as great as Ward is, and I might be the biggest Travarius Ward supporter there is. I fully admit that. I was
his family probably a little more than you.
I was a huge fan of him, and that was one of the first guys that I remember tabbing. Even when he got cooked by Seattle, I said, look out for Ward. He's going to be a really good player. And because I just liked what I saw, even though he was getting mossed a couple of times, but he was always in the right spot. And so I remember even early on, and people were calling me crazy. I'm like, just trust me on this one. And then he blossomed into, I think, an all-pro even with the 49ers.
I wanted him on the field, and I wanted Skandrick nowhere near the field.
Correct.
Like, get Skandrick out of there. Put in the guy with the red hair.
And
Please, put in the guy with the red. I know he doesn't turn around and find the football, but at least he's there.
Yes.
Put in the guy with the red hair.
And as great as he was, you had a guy, as you mentioned, in Snead. And as great as Snead was, there were still some concerns. Like, with Ward, the concern was he was never going to find the ball, right?
Yeah, he won't turn his head around. Why won't he turn his head around?
With Snead, it was the knee, I think, was a big issue. So I think with both those guys, as great as they were, you saw at least a reason why you were not going to give them
100%.
the deal.
Yep.
With centers, for example, with Kansas City, it was you're not going to pay a center, even as great as Morse and Hudson were.
And Morse, you had the injuries.
You had
too.
the injuries with Morse. Hudson, I think he was really good, but he was never.
They drafted Morse.
Correct. So I think that was a little, and then Humphrey was, well, there's no really flaw. If he could figure out how to snap the football, there's no flaw, right? He did the dead man snap or dead ball snap.
Yeah.
There's no flaw. With McDuffie, there's not really a flaw outside of slightly short arms, but you knew that from the get-go. You knew that when you drafted him, and it's not been something that has bit the Chiefs or necessarily bit him in any magnitude. And so I'm sitting here going, they don't pay centers until a different guy, a different player comes through, a.k.a. Humphrey. They don't pay cornerbacks. Well, until you have a guy like Trent McDuffie to where he makes it to almost where you have to pay him. Mm-hmm. I do think McDuffie's different than Snead. I do think he's different than Ward. It's a different regime than it was with Brandon Flowers and Brandon Carr. I do think McDuffie gets a longer-term extension here in Kansas City. And, again, I know we've seen the trends in the past, but trends are there until they're broken. And I think McDuffie breaks the cornerback trend.
I do too, because, again, he's already broken the cornerback trend, as you talked about. They took him in the first round. So he's broken that trend. They do not take cornerbacks early. They're not going to take – the Chiefs have traded up. Oh, my God, they're going to go get Jermaine Johnson. Trent McDuffie, cornerback, Washington. What? They don't take cornerbacks that high until they did.
Yeah.
They don't pay centers until they did.
It's Ohio State quarterbacks are horrible until they're not, like with C.J. Stroud.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean,
it's Tedford. You don't draft a quarterback that was coached by Jeff Tedford because those guys are not good. Bowler and Akili Smith, and so you don't draft Aaron Rodgers because these quarterbacks do not excel with this guy as a coach. You don't take Texas Tech quarterbacks. Look at all of them that have failed. Texas Tech quarterbacks do not succeed in the NFL until Patrick Mahomes. So maybe Aaron Rodgers was just different. Maybe it was the quarterbacks, not necessarily the coach. Maybe it was the quarterbacks, not necessarily the system overall, that would keep them from performing. And Patrick Mahomes has bucked that trend, and maybe it's the opportunities and circumstances surrounded that as to why they didn't pay a center and why they weren't going to pay a cornerback or draft one early on. They did, and I think they are trying. I think they want to extend Trent McDuffie as well. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll hear from Andy Reid. The left tackle competition, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a competition at left tackle this year. You know, left tackle is something that, unlike the last few years, we're going to talk left tackle for the Chiefs training camp.
Kingsley and Wanya Morris, correct?
Kingsley and Wanya Morris. We'll see if Orlando Brown can play. Hopefully, Joe Thuney, has maybe a little more, lead in the tank.
Donovan Smith probably, too.
Donovan Smith is there. You hope that Eric Fisher is recovered from the injury. There's a lot of guys in the mix at the left tackle spot.
Willie Rofe at age 50-something.
Why not? Why not?
I bet he could.
I bet he still walks the same as he did. I don't know, man. He looks like he's really old the way that he's walking around camp. Yeah, that's just how he looks. More Zone next. Can I get my learned early right now? Since just came across my timeline and I.
Is it the weekend? It's Monday. Doesn't count.
That's right.
You can't learn anything on a Monday.
Ooh, can I learn it before 1:20? Can it be a learned before 1:20? Because technically, what we learned from the weekend, I mean, I guess Monday isn't the weekend anymore. But
you're not allowed to learn anything right now.
Dang it! I hate that. Neither are the listeners, so it all works together. But
what did you learn?
This just came across my time. I did not know this, and apparently, this may be Jim Abbott. I don't know, but Ted Lasso filming in Kansas City right now.
Yeah,
is this a Jim Abbott?
Yeah,
thing?
it's a little Jim Abbott.
Okay,
it's a little Jim Abbott.
It's a little Jim Abbott. Not a lot of Jim Abbott, but filming yesterday around Kansas City. That Juno Temple and Hannah Waddingham were at Gates Barbecue yesterday filming.
Yeah, that was going to be my learn because I was driving
Sorry
downtown.
About that. Damn it!
I was driving
we'll
downtown.
Let you do the learned again.
I was driving up Main and I was like, why are all those cops around Gates? And then I got up there in the parking lot. The whole parking lot was like this big. Is the most professional looking video shoot I had ever seen, and I was like, I bet they're shooting Ted Lasso. So
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody I recognized or anything, but it was really cool to see all this. It was
awesome.
7:30 yesterday morning.
Yeah, we'll let you continue with that learn.
I'm hungry now, and all I want is barbecue. What are we doing, y'all?
But yeah, there's pictures of Juno Temple, Keeley, and Hannah Waddingham.
I did not know that was her real
Rebecca.
name. Juno?
Juno. You didn't know it? You know it now. Yeah. Woo!
Like Alaska Juno or Juno?
Juno.
Okay.
Juno how to spell it again. So Keeley and then Hannah Waddingham, Rebecca, that had that amazing song at Big Slick last year in 2024's Big Slick. That was really cool. So they are in town, and yeah. So apparently everybody knows this. My bad. There was my nephew said, yeah, there was a call for extras. I'm like, oh, I didn't get the call. I mean,
Well, some of those got exposed as a scam.
what?
Some of the extras calls were not real.
Oh, darn it. I'm glad I didn't get the scam. But guys,
If
I'm going to
you
be an
get a-
extra in Tad Lasso.
if you get a
Ted Lasso,
call-
I'm going to the 9th hole at 9.
All you got to do is pay us. What's your credit card number?
Yeah, that's right. You can, you know what it is? Give us your bank info so we can direct deposit you to be an extra. Oh, great. That's awesome. Honey, because it's like $2,000. Apparently we paid that? Oh, no. That's too bad. Yeah. What was the, who was it that they told him that would be a signing bonus? And he said, well, I don't know that we have the money to do that. And they're like, no, we'll pay you the signing bonus. God, what was the story? It was like a professional
I remember
athlete.
that, yeah.
And they told him that, it's like a $5,000 signing bonus or something like that. And they're like, well, I'll try to find the money. I don't like, no, that's what we're going to pay you. So, there would be texters and listeners or somebody on Twitter that will remind us of that story. And it's like, oh, yeah, duh, that's what it was. All these stories, they sort of just blend together. So I can't wait to hear Drake's Learned coming up in the 1 o'clock hour with Mick Schaefer with some Learned Funniest Best. We have not learned who the left tackle is going to be down in Brazil against the Chargers. Andy Reid still going to be figuring that out throughout camp. Here is Andy Reid on the left tackle competition and the left side of the offensive line and what that will look like over training camp, preseason, and on into week 1.
We'll just flip those two guys and they'll work in there and we'll go from there. So yeah, but those guys, Andy rotates all those guys anyway. So yeah.
Andy, can you just give us an overview of what you're going to be looking for at left tackle with that position in training camp?
Yeah, you're going to look for the best guy, to start with, that can fill in that spot and that we can have a little consistency there. We didn't have that last year, and so let's work at it and see what we come up with. We've got some good candidates for it, and we'll just see where it goes.
Andy, when it comes to Josh Simmons, how much of that are you interested in, just the conditioning part of it, and has he been given the all clear to fully participate?
Yeah, listen, he stayed up here this whole break. He's been here and working his tail off, and so it looks like in the way he finished phase 3, but it looks like he's ready to go. And we'll keep an eye on him and see where he's at. But his conditioning was good when he was out there, and he seems to be a worker. So we'll just have to see. He's never been through one of these, so we got to see how it goes.
Coach, specific to the left tackle position, I think it's been more than a decade since you're entering training camp with an actual battle at that position group since you've been here. Do you find yourself having to place a timeline on when you would expect or you want to see someone emerge, and then that'll be your guy going forward?
I think by the time you get out of this thing, you'd like to have an idea who that is, right? You want to have a feel on it. So we evaluate these guys every play, Herbie, for whether it's a light practice or a hard practice. They're evaluated and graded and so on. So we'll see how it all sorts out.
How does the fact that left guard has a battle also affect, because you'd like to have the two starters work together some before the season starts, so how does that affect the dynamic that both of those spots are open right now?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. These are young guys that are going to get in there and compete, and I think that's a positive thing. And we're going to come out with somebody that's a good player, so I'm good with it. Yeah.
So the left tackle competition, we'll see who's going to be running out there with the ones tomorrow. We'll find that out. Andy Reid talking about Juwan. At the beginning there, they were asking about Juwan Taylor on the PUP list and who's going to play, and he said, well, just flip those guys. And I don't know what that meant. Flip those guys as if like Juwan and Simmons will both be flipping back and forth, playing left and right. I'm hoping that it'll be, what did I say, Juwan? Jalen Moore. Yeah, Jalen Moore and Josh Simmons will be going back. I hope it's just Jalen Moore playing right tackle and let Josh Simmons play left tackle. I hope that's the case. They have Wanya Morris as well. But talking about Josh Simmons, I thought that was interesting. The first thing he said is that, well, he stayed here in the break. So after Phase 3 was over, he didn't go anywhere. Stayed here in town and continued working there at the facility in training, rehabbing, and all of that stuff. So, and he said his conditioning was good even in Phase 3. So that wasn't a question of whether or not, he was going to be in shape or anything like that because of the injury, that he's full go. Not on the PUP list, was practicing in full, and stayed during the break. Guys went on vacation and stuff like that. Maybe he had a vacation somewhere, but stayed in town. And instead of like, oh, I'm going to head back home wherever, he lives and just stay there the whole time and train. So that was cool to hear. But then the timeline, he said, when you leave here, you'd like to have an idea. I'm interpreting that as leave here as in St. Joe. That would be August 13th. That would be 2 days before the second preseason game. I mean, that's still 2-3 weeks before they end up playing their first game. But you'd like to have the guy that's going to be starting left tackle probably playing in week 3, right? In preseason game number 3 against the Bears. That's August 22nd. That is a home game. You'd like to have that line together. And as Steven said, the left guard is a competition too. So you got both those things open. And we talked with Matt Ryan in Tahoe, and, the things that he says a lot of people agree with when he looked at it and said, I think the offensive line, he said, the way I view the offensive line is that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So if I have 5 guys working together, that can be better than 2 or 3 guys that are really high level and a couple of guys that just don't have it.
Which has kind of been the Chiefs.
That's what it's been last year on the left side. Yeah. That's what it was. They had talent. They had Creed and Trey and Tooney and Juwan Taylor when he's lining up offsides and not holding is a decent player. Not worth the money, but if you're just saying, okay, are you okay at right tackle? Well, is he performing the way that we thought okay at right tackle was Andrew Wiley? Yeah, he's just getting way too much money to perform that way. But when you had Tooney at left tackle and Caliendo at left guard, you were subpar at left tackle and subpar at left guard. And you got destroyed with 3 guys that are going to be expected to be your starting 3 of your 5 come week 1. Are you better at left guard and left tackle week 1 than you were in the Super Bowl? Damn, you'd better be. You'd better be. I like Joe Tooney. He's a good player. Really awesome left guard. Inferior left tackle. Went out there and tried to do the job as much as he could.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs have to coach around it. But they should be better at left tackle and left guard than they were in the Super Bowl. But what's the timeline for that? We'll see. Herbie also said it's been a decade since you've had like a real true left tackle competition. I mean, I guess was last year not a true competition unless he's saying like, that was his, subjective sort of.
Because Kingsley and
offering.
Wanye was definitely, I thought, a
I thought it was a
competition.
legit competition at left tackle, and maybe him being around it was like, no, actually, the people that I've talked to, that was not a legit competition. It was Kingsley the whole time. And maybe that's what he's saying, is that a legit competition that Jalen Moore or Josh Simmons go into this maybe 50-50, where last year it was like, we need Kingsley to be the left tackle, so we're going to find a way to make sure that Kingsley's the left
and the
tackle.
slight injury to Wanye Morris.
And Wanye
maybe
Morris
that was...
battling injuries, so Kingsley's going to get all of the reps. And Jalen Moore is not on the pup. Jalen Moore is practicing. He was missing in some of the OTAs and minicamp. So now that he's healthy, who gets the number one left tackle spot? I hope it's Josh Simmons and Jalen Moore plays right tackle, because Josh Simmons, leave him alone. Let him play left tackle, leave him alone.
Well, and your hope is that if he can play left tackle,
yeah.
The plan was Jalen Moore to be right tackle next year either way.
That'd be great.
Post Juwan Taylor. So this would be best case scenario is Josh Simmons left tackle, Jalen Moore right tackle, because that's where you'd expect them to play
If Juwan Taylor's injured.
if he's injured.
Yeah, and also best case is Josh Simmons earns it quickly. Like, I think best case would be Josh Simmons gets there, dominates, and it's like, this ain't a competition. Josh Simmons is our left tackle. Jalen, it's now become a competition for right tackle between you and Juwan. That would be great. That would be best case. Because then Juwan Taylor will be pushed, and he hasn't been pushed, really, in his career. He came into the league, right tackle for the Jags, and then with the Chiefs getting all this money, he's the right tackle for the Chiefs. Not really a competition, somebody pushing him to take his job. And if Josh Simmons comes out immediately and shows that he's the best left tackle on this team, it would create an opportunity, whether the Chiefs do that or not. And Andy Heck, as Andy Reid said, moves those guys around anyway, to maybe throw it up for a competition between Juwan Taylor and Jalen Moore at right tackle, which I think plenty of fans would like to see. Would like to see at least that be a scenario that happens in camp to push Juwan Taylor to be even better than what he's been the last couple of years in what is his final year with the team. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. We'll hear from Andy Reid talking about camp, how much it's changed over his career, and training camp after losing a Super Bowl. What's the difference there? More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Let's hear from Andy Reid. And Andy Reid, yesterday, as they got to camp, was asked, how has camp changed over the course of his long career?
It's way different than when we first got into it, but within the rules, and you're always player safety. That is number one on this thing, so you don't want to put those guys in a bind. But at the same time, it's a tough sport. I mean, this thing it's tough, and so there's a point where you got to reach down and you got to be able to push yourself through some things, and these camps still do that. It's just at a different level than maybe what it was when I first became a head coach.
And you still feel that late in the season, in a December game, you feel like you can picture how they draw from this
yeah,
time?
listen, I listen to the players. I mean, that's what I do. I use those guys as kind of the thermometer on things that they tell you. They go, man, I'm glad we did those long drive drills. I mean, they pay off. We hate them, but I'm glad we did them. You know, and they pay off at the end.
They talk about those long drive drills. I mean, the Kelsey brothers talk about it all the time. And look, Andy Reid's camp's considered to be one of the toughest. But it's interesting, the question about, over the years, the CBA has changed. Yet your camps are still considered to be one of the toughest around, even with the CBA that is so closely monitored. And to my recollection, I don't think there's been any violations or anything from the Chiefs that they have been turned in for some reason. By the way, appreciate on Twitter pointing out, Adam Stilley pointing out that the story about the signing bonus was Andrew Brandt that loves to tell the story of the signing bonus, an undrafted free agent that he got on the phone with him and told him, wanted him up there for a rookie mini camp and said the signing bonus is $1,000. And the guy said, I'm sorry, Mr. Brandt, I only have $200, but I promise I'll bring the rest when I get there. I was like, no, we pay you the $1,000. The guy was going to bring him $1,000 to go be a part of rookie minicamp. That was the story I was trying to think of earlier today. Andy Reid, what's training camp like after losing a Super Bowl?
This part stays tough. I mean, it's never an easy camp, and it builds you a foundation that you can bank on. So it's important that the guys come in the right frame of mind. They know that, and they pass the word down to the young guys that they better be ready to go. But that helps us in the long haul.
Even you've had some time to think about it. Is there a certain message you want to start training camp with for the guys?
Yeah, I'll hit them with that first, Nate. But it's always expectations are always high, and that's a plus. And the guys that have been here have earned that right to have it that way. And but at the same time, you've got to maintain that and even strive to be better. I mean, the AFC West is a tough conference, and it's not getting any worse. That's for sure. I mean, these guys, it's good coaching and they've got good players. So just that alone is a great challenge for us. And so here we sit, and we have an opportunity to put ourselves in a position to make ourselves better every day that we go through this thing. So let's do that.
I mean, how much of a message is that to the veterans, and how much is it a message to the guys that are first-timers there at camp? I mean, I think that's the guys who are veterans know exactly what to expect. They know what it means to put on the Chiefs uniform. They know what it means and the expectation of how you practice, how you work, how you go about your business, meetings, film, all of that, being out on the field, what you're supposed to do, as opposed to the rookies and the guys who have signed free agent deals of what the expectation is. And you're coming off a Super Bowl loss, and maybe that motivation is up a notch or two from where it was last year. Although I don't know that there was a lack of motivation to try to go for 3 straight. You see any team that wins a Super Bowl or wins a championship, the first thing they talk about is, man, we got to do it again. Yeah, we got to do it again, man. That was amazing. I mean, even the Eagles got their rings over the weekend, and you see them, which I do love. Some Eagles fans saying like, "Oh yeah, the Chiefs so cocky, talking about let's do it again, let's win 3." And then you get Eagles players with their ring. It's like, I don't care, man. Let's do it again. Let's go win another one. Oh, how cocky. Cocky the Eagles. Yeah, every single team that wins a championship is like, man, let's go get another one. Let's go do it again.
Oh, how the turntables
have turned. Yeah. Also, the wings pop out of their ring. The Eagles. Do you see that?
No, I've not actually.
See the Eagles rings? They press a button and 2 wings pop out from their ring. I'm like,
I'll pretend it's
pretty
super
neat.
cheesy, but it probably is badass. But
It's pretty neat.
right now, I'll
Yeah.
say it's cheesy. Be like, oh no, the Chiefs would never.
Yeah, the
That's
Chiefs'
pretty
rings
cool.
opened up, right?
Yeah, that
they
was
opened
sweet.
up, and it was like, oh, everybody, your rings are dumb. I don't care. And then Eagles like, it's pretty sweet. I mean, you press a button and Eagles' wings pop out. Yeah, it's cool. You got to come up
Would
with new
you
ways.
ever sell your ring?
How much am I getting?
I don't know, 500,000.
Yes. I don't have $500,000, so I would sell my ring. You want this ring right here? I got it. $500,000. Boom.
I
It's
don't
available.
want that ring.
I don't want your life. That ring, $500,000. You said, would I sell my ring for $500,000? Yes, I'm saying yes. Right now, it's available.
I don't know.
I've got like 6 of these, so I'll sell each of them.
I don't need your rubber ring. I'm talking about
Why
the
not?
Super Bowl ring. If you had one,
Yes,
what would your price be?
$500,000. I'd sell it for
$250.
$250. Yes.
Dollars, not thousand. $250. Wow.
Oh no.
Lowballing you, pal.
Sorry about that. Dang it. Joel Penfield next. Radio 810 WHB. Heard from Andy Reid there that hour. A lot of Chiefs talk in the first hour with Karlaftis signing his deal. What's the next move? Trent McDuffie, is that on the horizon? Trey Smith, obviously, last Tuesday, getting a deal done with that. Chiefs reporting to camp today, conditioning tomorrow, their first practice. They're in St. Joe until August 13th. Their last practice before they get set for preseason game number 2, and then they'll be returning to Kansas City for the rest of the preseason on into game number 1 against the Chargers. The Kansas City Royals in action tonight against the Chicago Cubs on the road. Royals sit 4 games under 500, 12 games behind the Tigers, 5.5 games out of the wild card, 6 teams ahead of them. Noah Cameron on the mound tonight. Ryan Brazier for the Cubs, an opener on the mound tonight, 7:05 for that first pitch. Let's talk with Joel Penfield, One Royal Way podcast, joining us here to talk some Royals. You want to talk Royals or
British Open?
We could talk
Is
that.
okay?
Yeah, we could talk that. What is it
The
called,
what
Sterling?
now?
What's it called, Sterling?
Wait, sorry, the Open Championship.
Oh, Sterling,
The
oh, man.
Open.
Oh, it's the Open. Yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah, why don't you go across the pond and tell them? Okay, I don't
the
care.
Open. It's not the
the
British Open. It's
No,
the Open.
No, I need to figure out if it's the U.S. Open or the British Open.
It's the U.S. Open.
Well, you know what?
And the Open.
I'm in the United States. The Open is the U.S. Open to me. Sorry, if
the
you don't
Open
like it,
in
if you don't like
Britain.
it, go move to Britain. Go move to Northern Ireland then. Sterling, go.
I can't.
Okay,
Everyone sounds like Shrek to me, and I just donkey. I just
very
can't
good.
do it.
Good to know. Good to know. Joel Penfield is with us. Royals. Oh boy, they salvage a game.
Hey, it looks like it outside though.
Yeah,
that kind of looks like
this is
Scotland.
like premier Scottish golf conditions right now.
You know what? You're right. There's some Britain feel to it right now. They salvage a game though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
why is everybody focusing on the negative of losing Friday and Saturday and just ignoring the fact that they did not get swept by the Marlins? How disappointing, I guess, was this weekend, and how much does it drive them and advance them to selling?
It's incredibly disappointing. They needed to come out of this stretch and at least win the series. I wasn't expecting a sweep, but when you got Alcantara, even though he's got a good track record as a pitcher, been terrible for most of this season. You know, you get 4 across on him, but it felt like you had opportunities to get more. Cal Quantrill, who's got a near 6 ERA and has been a bad big league pitcher for most of his career, he shoves it and it was 6 shutout, almost 7 shutout. You laid an egg into 2 games in a row. Basically, you had an opportunity to win on Friday in a game that you had no business winning, and you snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, and then
after almost snatching victory from the jaws of defeat,
exactly,
trailing 5-0 and then eventually coming back in that
the
game.
stories would have been like Adam Frazier and John Rave helped
Yes.
maybe get things rolling, and then of course that ends up getting lost in it because Carlos Estevez threw a fastball right down the middle to one of the hottest hitters on the planet, and then you let Friday beat you 2 days in a row by showing up and laying an egg on Saturday.
God, imagine if the Marlins would have put Aranda in there instead of Stowers. No home run would have been hit.
I've always said that Adam Frazier trade was a good move. I
I've been
never
trying to tell
don't
everybody, I loved it.
don't pull any audio
Loved it.
from when it happened
Oh, my
because there's
goodness.
zero chance that I said anything different. Frazier move I said was glorious from the get-go.
And he hit a double on Sunday too.
It's like, I tweeted that out, and somebody replied, and I appreciate. They're like, I was listening to it when you were talking about it, and you did say, well, at least he's going to give you professional at bats when he's up there. I'm like, okay, nailed it. Gave you a professional at bat, got the double there, and then Carlos Estevez can't come through, and that's sort of been, it's kind of the theme of this year, that it's like, they pitch really well, and they don't score enough runs.
Or they score enough runs and they can't get it done.
And then the bullpen has let them down. You can't lose a game where you score 7 runs if you're the Royals.
No.
I mean,
And
that's
when John Rave gives you 2 homers and 4 RBIs and Adam Frazier comes through, you can't lose that game. But you lose that game because Bobby and Michael and India and Vinny combined to go 3 for 19 with 5 strikeouts in that game.
Yeah. And that was rough. They get the 2 runs.
I think and then those 4 went 0 for the game on Saturday.
Yeah, because Bobby's hitting streak on the road snapped on Saturday since he got the infield hit on Friday, which led to then Adam Frazier coming through and doing what he did. But Estevez couldn't get it done, and that was disappointing. And that would have been it's such a different feel if this team is 49-51. And it's like, well, they were 3 games under 500. Now they're only 2 games under 500. They took the series from the Marlins. You don't expect them to go and sweep, but they got the series. They came back on Friday night. Offense, they were picking it up. Saturday was a game that they've played 50 times this year.
Yep.
And Sunday is a game that they went and got the win. Bubic pitched well. The bullpen did their thing. The offense was great and busted out. And Jack had a 2-run double that he went to left center with. Awesome, cool.
Salvi hits another home run.
Salvi, another home run. Awesome. And hey, now you're heading to Chicago, and let's see what you can do for these 3 games there against the Cubs. And they got a bullpen game coming tonight. And so maybe you steal the first one, and you come out of the gates winning 3 of 4.
It changes a lot.
And
but even
now,
at 2-2, you have to jump 6 teams
Yeah.
to even get to slightly being in contention, because at that point you're probably still a game or 2 out, because the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Mariners have a game and a half jump on everyone else. So you're essentially 7 games out from trying to get to a walker. It's an untenable situation now.
And these first 3 games is why, we can look at it and go, second half of the season, the Royals, according to Fangraphs, have the second easiest schedule. J.J. Piccolo's talked about the games that they will be playing head-to-head against teams they're chasing in August and September. And so if you're going to be buying, you buy, and therefore you can catch those teams much quicker because you're playing head-to-head against them. But we can talk about, the schedule lightening up all we want. But, we saw what they did against the White Sox, the A's, and now the Marlins. So does it really matter if the schedule is light or not? It doesn't really matter. It looks like they sort of play the same way against whichever team they're playing at that point.
Team they are what they are.
Yeah.
And they've showed us all year, and we've all been kind of waiting. Like, they show flashes of maybe they can turn a corner, and then they just don't. So it's just not in it this year. And it happens. Like, especially when teams kind of arrive a year early like they did last year. There's some pullback. That happens sometimes. This doesn't mean that this is the end of the contention window for the Royals. They say they fully can intend on being competitive in 2026, and that's where the direction needs to be heading now. What can you do to improve for next season at this trade deadline and into the offseason?
And the bullpen, to me, is questionable at best. Lucas Erceg has not been the same guy at all. We thought the time off of the All-Star break was going to maybe help fix him. Does not look like that's the case. Estevez, I know the ERA is great this year, but
some of the peripherals have been bad most of the year, so this was kind of...
Strikeout numbers are brutal for a closer. His chase percentage is 4th percentile. His whiff percentage is 4th percentile. He just throws strikes, and nice. You're not going to walk a ton of guys, but that means
you have to get swing and miss in the strike zone.
And he's getting none of that, and he hasn't all season long. And that's why it's a little bit white knuckle. A lot of times when you've seen him even close games out, it's, okay, that's a hard hit ball. That's right at a guy. Or that's a line drive, but luckily Isbell was there. That's why in the All-Star game, it was so encouraging. You saw him strike out the side. You saw him get 3 strikeouts, and you go, okay, heck yeah. Okay, maybe he's going to turn a corner, and then, no, right down the middle fastball. Like, it's just, that's been my concern with him all year long, but without Hunter Harvey, with Estevez throwing strikes only and not getting any swing and miss, with Lucas Erceg not being the same guy at all, this bullpen just quite frankly isn't good. And they're wasting good starts, great starts, and you're right, you can't lose games when you score 7 runs, but you got to sell. And not just Lugo. I do think Carlos Estevez, if someone will say, hey, we still like the ERA, we'll give up something for him, you have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, someone like teams will always look to improve their bullpen and add arms. Like, relievers are one of the most, sought after commodities at the trade deadline. Carlos Estevez it's a 2-year deal, so you basically get a year and a half. Maybe you can get something semi-decent for him. You're not going to get the corner outfield bat that they've talked about, but you can still get someone semi-decent for him. John Schreiber may be a name that gets thrown around as well. He'd have a year and a half. Yeah. I said on the podcast that he was a free agent. I had that wrong. I guess he is a free agent after 26. But that's a year and a half on a guy like, okay, we've seen some increased velocity, funky arm angle, can hit some upper 90s, get you a ground ball when you need it. In a middle relief role, that's valuable as well. So they have names and guys they can go do. Lugo's the only one that I think is a 100% going to be moved. And then Estevez, Schreiber kind of goes down a little bit. I'd put Estevez at maybe like a 70% that gets moved. And then after that, you're going to hear the name Chris Bubic. I don't think they end up moving him unless someone just blows them away. I saw Mike Hill got floated by some reporter. I don't think that happens either.
Again, unless you get blown away, and
unless you get absolutely blown
shortstop.
Yeah, like you take those you're going to take the phone call whether you say yes is a completely different conversation. 100%. But teams are going to be calling about a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
But Lugo is the only one that I see 100% that is actually dealt.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if again, I've talked about this for the last 3 weeks. Fermin is a guy that I think would be.
We
on
talked
the move.
about that off air. I agree.
Because the team that would make the most sense is the Padres. They need a catcher very, very badly. I think their catchers have like a combined OPS of like 500 and not playing great defense. And Fermin throwing guys out and giving you the at-bats that he does runs pretty well for a catcher as well. I don't know what the value would be or what you'd get back, but I think the Padres would certainly come calling for Fermin once we find out that the Royals are going to be taking phone calls on a lot of these players.
And if you want to look toward 2026 as well, it opens up the avenue for maybe calling up Carter Jensen for the last part of September, let him get used to some big league pitching, let him get used to throwing to Cole Reagans and Noah Cameron and Chris Bubich and Michael Wacha. And he doesn't have to play every day. You still have Luke Maile, who is a consummate pro, been around the block for a long time. That's a heck of a catcher to learn from, plus Salvador Perez. And it allows them to just go, Salvi, first base DH for the rest of the year. Stay off your legs, hit a bunch of homers. Let's see if we can get you to 300 without you catching 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily advocating for the call-up of Carter Jensen, but that's the avenue that you could take. And he's hitting the cover off the ball in AAA right now. Like, how much more is there for him to learn, similar to what we talked about with Kaggs?
And that's what, with Carter making his way up to AAA this year and still having half a season to go, that 2026 timeline is not only a possibility, it's more than likely what is going to be realistic for him. A guy that should be not only realistic, that should be the timeline. It'd be a disappointment if he didn't make his debut at least by the end of 2026. So maybe at the beginning of 2026, he breaks camp, sort of like what the Dodgers are doing with Will Smith and
Dalton Rushing.
Dalton Rushing, thank you.
Yeah, because Carter Jensen's right now slugging .712 in AAA. Which is dumb.
That seems like it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to go back and do my math.
I mean, I've been convinced they've been using the Super Happy Fun juiced ball in AAA for about the last 4 years, and it's just still there. But that also could be how bad the pitching is in AAA. A little column A, column B, perhaps.
Yeah. But he's a guy, like you said, if they move on from Fermin, you've got somebody there that you can bring up later on in the season. And September call-ups aren't the way that they used to be, where you could go to 40 guys, and that's not the case. You can add a couple of players, and maybe that's Carter, maybe it's somebody else. Maybe you get Carter a taste of the big leagues, and then next year open up spring training with him in the big league camp, and then maybe he breaks camp with the big league club, since what he's doing in AAA right now shows that he's not just a guy that is going to be overmatched and overwhelmed at the next level.
Right.
We'll throw some names out for you guys, and let me know if you think that the Royals should entertain trading these guys.
Okay.
India.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Bobby Witt.
No.
Vinny.
No.
95% no.
Vinny's the interesting one for me.
Yeah, I just don't think you're going to get value back for what he brings.
Yeah, I
to
think
the
the
team.
Royals value him more than I think the rest of the league might. So I think the return would be pretty underwhelming relative to what team the Royals fans would think they could get for a guy like Vinny.
Clubhouse guy, and what it does to Bobby and the others if you move Vinny just for some the number 9 or 10 prospect in somebody else's organization. I don't think would be worth it. So 95% no, 5% chance of, oh my God, you're willing to give this up for Vinny? Okay, well then sorry Vinny, we don't have a choice.
Michael.
Yes. I'd be listening on Michael.
His value may never be higher.
Right. And that's
so
why I'd be
again,
listening.
it would not be one that I would look to make, but if the right offer came around,
yeah, I'm not shopping.
Consider it.
I'm not shopping Michael, but if somebody comes calling, I'm listening. And if they need a shortstop, I'm selling them as a shortstop. I'm not selling them as a third baseman.
Yep.
I'm selling them as a shortstop, and we don't have him playing shortstop because Bobby Witt is on this team. If Bobby wasn't on, when Bobby's not playing, who's playing shortstop? It's Michael. So he's a shortstop that's playing third. So those numbers, put him at shortstop. That's the value we want in return.
With a nearly 800 OPS right now.
That's the value we want in return for the
But
shortstop.
I do think that's the interesting one because I've heard so many people say no on Michael that it's untradeable.
No.
I get the age, I get the contract, I understand that you're thinking he's blossoming, but you don't want to be late. You don't want to.
Bobby's the only untradeable one on this team. Like honestly, like if you say untradeable, untouchable, Bobby. Everybody else is open to be blown away by a deal.
Salvi. Do you think he is okay?
If somebody is willing to give you something back for Salvi, I mean, we just got through talking about
he's getting hot
Carter.
right now. I mean,
Right.
Salvi's starting to really turn a slight course. Salvi's
They almost traded him in 23 to the Marlins.
I know. Salvi's the interesting one for me personally because of what he has done for the franchise.
That's the tricky part.
And I know it's hard to you're running a team, you're trying to win games, but there is the human element of the fan base. Fan base was not going to, no matter what you get in return for Salvi, whether that should be a legitimate concern or not is maybe moot, but
you're not going to get back. Again, it's sort of like the Vinny Pasquantino. You're not going to get back what you think he means to the organization, and it has to be acknowledged that they're trying to get a new stadium. And trading Salvi is probably not the best thing to do right before you probably are going to go ask the voting public that are Royals fans to go and agree to give the ownership, throw some sales tax and some public dollars to the Royals as they just traded Salvador Perez.
So here's the path for that, though. He has a club option after next year. If you trade him, say you do, I guarantee you 29 other teams would look at that and go, and we're declining that because you're not worth $13.5 million. I guarantee he would come back to Kansas City just that fast.
Or sign with the Marlins.
Yeah.
But again, if you sign with the Marlins, what does that do to Ramirez?
Augustine Ramirez, who's great. Yeah.
It was rough behind the plate this series, but has a great bat.
That guy can rake.
Yeah. So, I mean, the value for him is raking as a catcher and learning to.
If Salvador Perez was not the captain of the team, I don't think it would at least be a little more of a conversation. I don't think you trade that guy right now.
The fact that they were at least examining it in 2023 shows that JJ's open to it depending on the situation.
Salvi's also 2 years older now, though.
Agreed.
So
so what are you going to get back?
So you're not going to get much of anything back. So at that point, is it even worth trading the guy that's essentially your face of your franchise, team captain, all those things?
But I'm still a yes on, again, this is all depending on what you get back. But yes, if I'm willing to trade Salvi, yes, I'm willing to trade Salvi.
I think one of the more interesting ones, we talked Vinny, Salvi, Michael. I think Caglione would be the most intriguing one.
No.
I say
you'd be selling so low right now.
That's a no, but
it's a hard no.
Yeah, you'd be selling low.
I think it's a super hard no.
Yeah. I know that I said the only one that you would not trade is Bobby, but what's the value you get back for Cags right now versus
I don't think there's even a point in trading him.
Yeah. Like he's the guy that you'd be trading for somebody like Cags. That's going to be an outfielder that can give you 30 to 40 home run potential on a team that needs the long ball. You're hoping to trade Lugo and get somebody that can offer you the potential of and maybe you package Lugo and Schreiber together to get a better prospect in return that maybe can play a corner outfielder.
So obviously Lugo and Lorenzen, those two are obvious.
Yes.
Chris Bubich.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd look into trading him. Yeah.
Again, not similar to the Michael situation. Like I'm not being outgoing. He is available for a trade, but if someone calls and goes, "We want Chris Bubich and we'll take on the next year and a half, and we'll give you X, Y, and Z." All right, let's do it.
Yeah, it's like, wow, okay. We want Aroldis Chapman. We want Cole Reagans. Okay, great, deal done. We want Chris Bubich. We want X, Y, and Z. Okay, great, deal done then. If that's the case, then I'd be looking because you're going to pay him $100 million.
Yeah, it's very dependent on if the Royals think they even have a chance to extend him. Because he's a free agent after next season.
Yeah, you got a year and a half worth of Chris Bubich, and then he's going to sign for
he's going to get a pretty decent contract. Yeah. If he the contract year is undefeated. So if you don't think you have a chance to extend him after the this offseason, then I think you have to. It's a move you have to make.
He's a 9-figure player,
and the Royals have shown over the last couple of years with Sweeney and Bove and all this that they can develop starting pitching, and they're willing to. And they can churn that out. Noah Cameron's a great example of that. That in this organization they can get that done. So it makes it a little more palatable to trade a Chris Bubich. Previous regime, I would have been like, absolutely not, because there's no shot that I think anyone can come in behind him and get requisite value. I think they at least have shown that they can get that.
I think the final one is Noah Cameron.
Yes.
It depends on what the Royals think he is.
Yeah.
If the Royals are sitting here going, he's been great this year, but we don't think he's going to be this good.
Yeah. Career ERA.
Let's try and sell high.
Noah Cameron, career ERA over the next 6 years, over or below 4 ERA?
I think 4 is like right at.
Me too.
Yeah,
I would lean.
But
I would lean over.
But
like under.
Yeah, but even if he's a 4 ERA guy, that's like your 4 or 5 starter. That's worth 2 wins at least a season ish. Given his ability to go deep into games, 6+ innings, he can give you. If he gives you a 4 ERA with 170 to 180 innings. That's what Brady Singer gave you for 4+ years.
Yeah, I'm good with the value that Noah Cameron brings, but if somebody is calling about Noah Cameron, then I'm listening.
Yeah.
So I'd be
Although I
willing
don't
to
think
trade
teams
him.
will be calling about him this year.
His expected ERA is a 3.17 as a heads up.
People would be calling about Noah.
3-1. That's still really good.
Yeah,
That's
no, it's
amazing.
still really,
That's,
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
crazy.
People would be calling about Noah Cameron if the Royals were looking to buy
Yes.
a left fielder. Then you'd have to be looking into selling Noah Cameron.
Because that was
But-
a lot of the conversation early
yes.
on when the Royals still looked like they could potentially buyers, and Noah
Yeah.
Cameron's doing this. Like, well, maybe if you keep Noah Cameron up here, show what he can do, and then he can go and get you something. But
Yeah,
at this point, he's part of your rotation in
Absolutely.
2026.
Well, then if you think that he's going to be above a 4, that means you'd be looking at trading him then almost.
Yeah, if somebody calls, yeah, for sure. There are
Would
guys
you
that
shop him then?
I'd shop him to say that, what am I getting back? Yeah, there's a lot of guys I would shop on this team. I'd shop Salvi. I'd call and see what people's interests are. Salvi, Michael Garcia, Bubic, Waka. Obviously, Lugo's the obvious one. Hunter Harvey hit 99 at AAA yesterday. So if a couple more days he's got rehab starts and then he comes up, let's say next Monday, you'd have 3 days for the trade deadline with Hunter Harvey, who's a rent player. You may not get much back for him, but if you got like a brand new fungo bat back for Hunter Harvey, that's not something that you had in your organization before when I didn't know that Hunter Harvey was ever going to pitch for the Royals again. But rehab start AAA, hits 99 a couple of times. Okay, maybe he comes back out on Thursday, throws again, and they say, what, let's bring him up this weekend, and we'll have him pitch a couple of times before Wednesday's trade deadline, and we might move him too. For something, or a throw-in to maybe sweeten the pot, or a throw-in because somebody might pick up some money on a different
yeah, I mean,
prospect. Like, who
Harvey's
knows?
not getting you anything more than maybe
No.
like a complex lottery ticket
Yeah.
or something like that. But
Right, but again, it might
its
be
value is value.
Yeah, it might be a throw-in to where 2 weeks ago I wouldn't have even said he'd be pitching for the Royals before the trade deadline. Yeah. And so now, seeing it yesterday, as long as he comes out healthy today and everything's good with the shoulder, and they look at it and like, all right, let's throw him out there a couple of days from now and see what he looks like then. Probably want to do a back-to-back day if that helps. And then if he goes Friday, Saturday, maybe back-to-back, something like that. I don't know. You bring him up on Monday, and then you throw him out there for an inning or two before the trade deadline. So yeah, he's a guy that absolutely. I'd be looking at pretty much. I'd be shopping almost anybody on this team. Again, besides Bobby, I don't think you're getting the value back for Jack Caglione, like we mentioned, because you'd be selling low. I don't think you'd be getting near the value back on Vinny as to what he means for the organization and the clubhouse and being around Bobby and some of the guys. Salvi's 2 years older than when they were shopping him 2 years ago to maybe the Marlins. But what would you get back for Salvi if you do feel like Carter Jensen's ready to come up and play? And some of these pitchers too. I do think one thing that we have to acknowledge as well is if they trade Seth Lugo, I don't want JJ Piccolo to back himself into a corner like Allard Baird when he traded Beltran and said we have to have a third baseman, we have to have a catcher, and we have to have a pitcher.
Yeah.
No, I want the best prospect. And if the best prospect for Seth Lugo is a pitcher, then great. Then that's the best prospect we get back from this organization for Seth Lugo. Because we can sit here and say, well, you got to score runs. Okay, great. In 2 years, they're scoring a lot of runs. But Bubic is somewhere else. Lugo's somewhere else. Michael Wacha's 2 years older. Cole Reagans is battling injuries, and they're giving up 6 and 7 runs per game, and they're scoring a lot of runs, but they're losing because this ain't the rotation that it was in 24 and 25 when all they had to do was score 4 runs and they won.
But damn, are they fun.
Yeah, because you didn't replenish the pitching.
Yeah.
So at that point, yes, if you get pitching back for Lugo, whoever you get back for Lugo, if you trade him, you need to hit on that guy, depending on what level he is. But I don't think they should pigeonhole themselves as to only dealing these players to somebody that's willing to give them a bat.
No, and I think JJ's shown that he's not going to back himself into a corner just to try and make a move. Like, because he talked about how all offseason, like, we need a corner outfield bat. We got to figure this out. And the deal didn't come to pass.
But that's for this year. They
No,
need a
I
corner
know.
outfield
No,
bat
I
this
know.
year.
That's
Right.
well, I guess what I mean though
Yeah.
is that he's not just going to force a move to try and just make it happen. Like it needs to come organically as part of this or part of the offseason, however it's going to be, and they'll find a way to work it. I think that's what I mean.
Right. No, and I was actually agreeing with you and sort of adding on that when he talked about corner outfield, it was this year specifically.
Yes.
Now that they're at the trade deadline, I don't think there should be anything specific like we have
No,
to
I
have
don't
this
think so
one
either.
thing, and we won't trade Lugo unless we get this one thing for this organization. Okay, you're going to trade us a top 25 pitcher and all the baseball prospects? Yeah, we'll give you Lugo. Or, okay, this is like the 170th best prospect in baseball and he's an outfielder. Nope, we got to have that outfielder. No, you got to get value back. You got to get as much value back as you can.
How much value is being lost the longer the Royals hold on to Seth Lugo? Because that means every time or every day and every start that he makes is a start here and not a start for that team that traded for him who's trying to make a playoff push.
Well, I mean, you can't force a team to trade.
No. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing. But I guess my concern, dude, if I had a slight concern, is that does his value go down the longer he's a Royal because that's fewer starts for the team that's making the playoff push, or does it really matter because that
I don't think it'll really matter.
It's only 2 more starts.
It'd be like one start.
Yeah,
maybe.
so like he's going to start Wednesday, and then he'll start Saturday or Sunday or Monday.
Yeah,
and then at that point, so you got 2 starts before you would really, if you traded for him right now, you'd get 2 extra starts.
And if
how much more valuable is that in terms of a prospect that you'd be giving up for Lugo?
And if he goes out and gives you 7 shut on Wednesday afternoon in Chicago, then
he's going to.
Yeah, I'd be on the phone trying to make that deal
7?
during the off day.
He's going to. No hitter.
Only 7?
No hitter coming up on Wednesday. Seth Lugo, no hitter. Calling it right now. Seth Lugo, no hitter on Wednesday.
The Royals are going to get no hit on Wednesday now. You just jinxed it. The Royals will now not get a single hit on Wednesday.
His final start with the Royals, Seth Lugo, no hitter against Colin Ray.
Say dueling no-hitters would be a game that's, 55 minutes long?
That's right. Boy, would it be perfect?
That would be Manfred's dream right there.
It would be kind of perfectly Royal this year for Seth Lugo to throw a no-hitter, but be pulled in the 10th inning because the Royals also haven't scored a run. They've gotten some hits, but they have not scored a run. It's still 0-0.
What would Juan Marichal do?
Actually,
he's going to finish what he started. Him and Warren Spahn, 1962.
It might be perfectly Royal to lose 1-0. If with a Seth Lugo no-hitter.
Yes.
Drake liked that one. He gave me a little nod. He was proud of me there.
Last one for you, Joel. We talked about this on Friday with Jack Johnson, Noah Cameron, because Noah Cameron was trending on Thursday with the MLB.com with the straw poll or whatever it was that they were doing with the Noah Cameron not showing up in the top 5. And I asked what theories we had as to why Noah Cameron is not being even considered for Rookie of the Year. He has the same betting odds as Jack Caglione for Rookie of the Year, does Noah Cameron?
It's so disrespectful.
Yeah. Why do you think that it's not even like Jeff? I love Jeff Passan, and the conversations are great with he and Seren. And one of Seren's Final Fours was, where does Noah Cameron finish in Rookie of the Year? And Jeff Passan was like, he doesn't. Like, there isn't. It was sort of, and Seren was like, whoa, that's a little dismissive of what Noah Cameron's doing. And Jeff Passan's point was like, look, all of these different players that we're looking at. But even a local guy in Passan wasn't really viewing Noah Cameron legitimately as even getting a top 3 or 4 vote from somebody, to finish somewhere.
Yeah.
Can't be a top 4 vote. Top 3 vote, is all you can go with the Rookie of the Year voting is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think if Noah Cameron threw 98, we'd be having a few more conversations about it.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunately not a sexy profile in today's game. Velocity. It's why Jacob Mizorowski gets to go to the All-Star game after 5 starts because he throws 102 miles an hour and it's pretty awesome. But Noah Cameron's just a solid pitcher. And if the Royals were 10 games over 500, maybe we're having a different conversation because he's helped fortify that rotation without Cole Reagans. But because the team isn't as good, and even though he's pitching well, he doesn't get a ton of strikeouts. He just goes out and does a job. Like, he fits the mold of a 4 or 5 starter, and that's just not a sexy profile for people to tune in and watch and pay attention to.
Yeah, I think there's 2 things. Jack brought that up on Friday and said the stuff doesn't get you on the Twitter.
No.
Pitching Ninja isn't, throwing, overlays of all of Noah Cameron's stuff.
And even though Noah Cameron has a better ERA and double the starts than Jacob Mizorowski, he doesn't throw 102 with a 98-mile-an-hour slider.
100%. And my theory was, if Noah Cameron was a top 30 prospect in all of baseball coming into this year, even with the stuff that he has, I think he'd show up much higher in these Rookie of the Year voting because he would have had the name recognition. But he was the number 5 prospect in the Royals organization that isn't that great of an organization. But if he was a top 30 prospect and now it's like, hey, Noah Cameron's making his debut. This guy's number 25 in MLB pipeline. Let's check out Kyler McDaniel, has him as number 18. Overall prospect, Noah Cameron making his debut, and then he's done this over the course in a 2-something ERA, he would have been in the top 5.
Yep.
especially if you throw in he throws 97, 98. Those are the two things working against him: name recognition, and he doesn't have the Instagram and Twitter pitches that have crazy movement that people go, oh my God, I can't believe that's happening. All he does is just go out there and win and shove and pitch, really well. Joel, as always, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us.
Absolutely. Look forward to next week.
Yep, absolutely. That'll be 2 days before the trade deadline. When we talk to you, we'll see if who's on the team, who's not on the team, and who may be on their way off the team. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. Pipeline tweeting out some of the numbers for the Royals draft picks. Royals signing Sean Gamble for $100,000 over slot.
That's a gamble.
You could say it's quite the risk. Josh Hammond for $100,000 under slot. So those two guys sort of equal each other out.
That's still a lot of ham. And
Yeah, sorry. You need to stop joshing around. All right, just stick to the facts here. The second rounder, Michael Lombardi for the Royals, signed for $200,000 under slot. So that's something to keep in mind.
so he wasn't like Mike.
Can you stop, please? Justin Lampkin, you got something for that? Lampkin signed right at slot, so no savings or anything. Cameron Millar, I have not seen the numbers on Cameron Millar, but remember, after that pick, Brian Bridges said they're going to have to do some recalculating.
Mm-hmm.
And Nolan Sailors was part of that recalculation because the fourth round, pick 128 slot is $582,000. He signed for $147,000.
Ooh.
Tyreek Kemp in the sixth round, his slot value was $340,000, and he signed also for $147,000. So those guys combined saved about $624,000, along with Lombardi's $200,000. So they saved about $825,000 in pool money for those particular picks. The slot value for Millar is $788,000. In theory, that might be $1.5 million they give him, in which they had to do the recalculation because that's what it was going to take for them to get Cameron Millar from his commitment to Arizona, I believe, is where he was going. And a guy who really burst onto the scene that we talked about that was throwing 92, and then all of a sudden he was consistently hitting 97 every start. The guy in 64 innings gave up 1 earned run, 23 singles, and 117 strikeouts.
Yeah.
And 20 inches of vertical break on his 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
That'll play.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was going to Arizona. So they knew to get him done, they were going to have to pay well over slot. So we see these numbers coming in. I have not seen anything for Cameron Millar, but I'm guessing that's going to be quite expensive. They also, the Royals, in the 14th round, took J.C. Vanek, a junior college kid that was committed to Florida State out of Chipola College in Florida, a guy that batted .400, got on base over .500, is looked at as maybe athletic enough to play the outfield, but one of the better bat tools, not much power. But again, he batted almost .400 this year, junior college. 14th round, they signed him to $350,000. So they signed their 14th round pick for $200,000 more than they signed their fifth round pick.
Crazy.
So, it's unfortunate their fourth round pick in Nolan Sailors, I should say. 14th rounder, they got $200,000 more. The baseball draft is so weird, man.
You said his name is Sailor?
Nolan Sailors was the fourth rounder.
He's probably cussing like a sailor right now.
Probably. He probably wouldn't have been drafted in the fourth round if it wasn't for him agreeing to agree to the $150,000 signing bonus. He probably would have been drafted somewhere that the signing bonus would be about $150,000. So it's like, we're going to take you in the fourth round, and we're going to give you what probably your slot money is. We just need to save that money because Cameron Millar was taken right before you.
Well, I wonder if the wind got taken out of his sails after the money he got.
I'm so sorry I started this.
You did, Drake. It's your fault. I mean, I blame you for doing that. So anything else? Anybody? You got any more jokes? Can we move on from
Not a
the money
joke,
here?
but let's take you back to 1963 in the greatest game ever pitched. Warren Spahn, 42 years old, against Juan Marichal, 25 years old.
Yeah.
Drake knows where I'm going with this.
Where
At
are you going with
Candlestick Park.
You were talking about it earlier.
It's the greatest game ever pitched.
Yeah.
Warren Spahn threw 201 pitches at age 42. Juan Marichal threw 227.
Could that spawn another game like that on Wednesday? Is that what you're saying?
Ayo.
Seth Lugo with the no-hitter in his final start for the Royals on Wednesday against the Cubs.
I also love back in the day when like all the stories that come out that just seem so far-fetched, but then they always put in all those movies where, like, the Babe called his shot. Yeah. I also love Juan Marichal going, I was waiting for Willie Mays. I said, Willie, this is going to be the last inning for me. He said, "Don't worry, Chico. I'm going to win this game for you."
Did
and then he hits a walk-off home run.
What that?
It's just like, and apparently, and when he's getting ready to hit, Juan looks at him and goes, "Hit one now." Like, why didn't you tell him that earlier? You wouldn't have had to throw 16 innings. Tell him in the 9th.
Well, in the natural, when he looked at him and said, "Pick me out a winner, Bobby." Okay. You know, that's a true story, too. He went and picked him out a winner because Wonder Boy was broken.
I also love that they call it the game was the last of its kind.
Yeah.
Since 1960, only Gaylord Perry in 1967 pitched 16 innings, and he was taken out for the last 5 innings of a 21-inning game.
Oh.
And then they said, quote, "the sissy."
How about
couldn't finish the 21 inning, only 16?
Yeah, but how about this? Hey, Willie, if you're so good at ending the game, why'd you wait that long?
That was my point. Do the 9th.
Yeah, do it earlier. Do it in the 8th, 9th, whatever.
But now people know. If you have not learned about that, look up the greatest game ever pitched.
And that'll be Wednesday with Seth Lugo and his no-hitter in which the Royals lose 1-0 because there was a walk and a 2-base error.
Imagine if someone threw 227 pitches in today's... That's 3 starts.
Yeah, the manager would be fired. Well, that's not 3 starts. Well, I guess, depending, What
75, 75.
What Bubic have 60 pitches yesterday? He was taken out of the game.
66 or 50. Was it
Something
66?
I thought there was a 6 in front of it for his pitches.
66.
Did not have many. I know that. Got taken out. You get an opportunity to rest him a little bit. So for that
3.5 starts.
For that stretch run. All right, we'll take a timeout. Thank you to Joel Penfield. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. Mick Schaefer will join us in the 1 o'clock hour. Learn funniest best. Still to come here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. More Zone. We'll talk a little bit about the Karlaftis contract. We talked about that in the first hour and how it measures up against some of these other contracts. Defensive ends, these edge rushers. Micah Parsons is going to get a payday soon. And Karlaftis' numbers is going to continue to go further and further down the list of the highest paid defensive ends over the next couple of years, making it more and more affordable. More Zone next. We'll talk with Mick Schaefer coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. George Karlaftis signed, sealed, delivered for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll see what that means for Trent McDuffie. But if you look at the defensive ends, edge rushers in the NFL, Karlaftis making less than $24 million annual average value. That's on the 4-year, $93 million contract. And especially if you are adding in the 2 years that he has left on his deal already for about 18 or so, you're looking at 6 years, $110 million, which drops it down to $18 million per year. But highest paid defensive ends, if you're just looking at their extension and their contracts that they're on, if you look at the 23 some odd million dollars for Karlaftis. TJ Watt, $41 million. Myles Garrett, $40. Danielle Hunter, $35.6. Max Crosby, $35.5. Nick Bosa, $34. Josh Hines-Allen, $28.25. Brian Burns, $28.2. Montez Sweat, $24.5. And Rashawn Gary, $24 million. Those are 9 players that are averaging more money per year than Karlaftis' deal. The 4 years, $93 million. Throwing in the 2 years, but that's not how we calculate those things. I mean, everybody calculates the extension and not the full contract overall. But still, you're looking at paying George Karlaftis $18 million a year for the next 6 years. Is he a top 10 defensive end or edge player right now in the NFL? He was honorable mention on ESPN's edge rushers. They ranked the top 10. So to be honorable mention, somebody had to put him in the top 10.
I say for sure top 20 and probably top 15 is where I'd have him right now.
So in the next couple of years, as more players get, Micah Parsons is going to get paid. So that's going to drop Karlaftis down to where he would be then 11. Other defensive ends are going to get paid, which will drop George Karlaftis down further and further to where he might be in 2 years the 15th highest paid defensive end, 15th highest paid edge. In 3 years, he might be 17th, 18th highest paid edge rusher, defensive end in the NFL.
That'd be a fun conversation or a fun. Where will he be when his contract extension actually kicks in?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Like where?
So starting in the 2027 season.
Because right now it's 10th, but
Yeah.
where will it actually be when the contract extension legitimately kicks in? Is it 12? Is it 15? Is it 17? I mean, again, that's why I keep going back to when this deal came through, my initial reaction was, this feels like a phenomenal deal for Kansas City. You're not getting like a steal of $12 million per year. That was never going to be the case. But as far as what I thought it was going to end up being, this seems like a damn fine deal for the Chiefs side of things. And again, for Karlaftis, I don't think it's not like he's going to be hurting for money after this, but you're also now under contract until 2030. That's all. That doesn't suck either. That's guaranteed money. You have a place to be on a Super Bowl contender your entire career. That's also a win-win, I think, for both sides.
Yeah, and I don't know what the contracts are going to look like for Trayvon Walker. You know, if he gets an extension. Thibodeau hasn't signed one, right? I mean, they're talking about moving Thibodeau. He's still under his rookie deal. So if Thibodeau signs a contract, extension, Jermaine Johnson with the New York Jets, if he signs a contract extension, what those are going to look like. Those guys are all drafted ahead of George Karlaftis.
Trayvon Walker's an interesting one. He had a pretty bad rookie year.
Yeah.
But then his last 2 years, he's been quietly under the radar, very good. Basically, Karlaftis level, maybe a little better in the sack numbers. 10 sacks in 23, 10.5 last year. You're probably looking at a guy who's going to get paid like Karlaftis, if not a little more. He also has a draft pedigree. Was he 1-1?
Trayvon Walker was, yes.
Yeah. So, again, something there. Has Aiden Hutchinson been paid yet?
He's going to get paid.
That's my point. So that's probably 2 guys.
Right.
3 guys, if you count Micah Parsons.
Yeah. That'll get paid. Thibodeau, Jermaine Johnson. This is the final year for Nick Benito because he was a second-round pick after Karlaftis.
Yeah.
So does Nick Benito sign a contract extension, and is it more than Karlaftis with the season that he had last year?
Yeah,
As
good
an
call.
edge
13.5 last year, yeah.
Outside linebacker. So if Benito signs a deal before the season opens up for the Broncos, does that move Karlaftis down again? I mean, those are 4 guys in his draft alone that could sign for more money than George Karlaftis got. Could. That would move him from 10th to 14th.
And if you count Parsons, Walker, Parsons, Thibodeau, Hutchinson, Benito, that's 5 guys right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I keep going
Did
back.
you say Jermaine Johnson? There?
I've not seen Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
What has he done, though?
He's a Pro Bowler. I mean, he's made a Pro Bowl.
Has he?
Yeah.
I guess I'm surprised by that. He only played in 2 games last year. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not saying he made it last year. But.
I don't. No, I don't know if he'll get more than Carl.
I don't either.
I don't think he will. So I think 5 guys at least, though. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
5 pretty comfortably guys that will probably end up when they sign will be more than Karlaftis. So Karlaftis, before he even sees his extension.
And then Will Anderson Jr. is going to get paid.
There we go. That's it. I mean, this
for
is
the next year.
Off the top of our head.
Yeah.
That's 6 guys.
Yeah.
Before the Karlaftis extension actually takes place. That's why he's 10th now when we think it's going to be, what the number's going to be. That right there moves him down to 16th before that contract extension even kicks in. That's why I said it's going to look like a good deal.
Yeah. Because, again, if you look at some of the cap numbers, in 2027, Karlaftis is going to be 26 years old in 2027, and his cap number is sitting at 15 and change. None of these guys am I saying Karlaftis is better than. I'm not saying Karlaftis is better than these guys. But when we're talking about what you're paying for that player versus paying 15 for Karlaftis and adding in another player, what could you get for that? Brian Burns will be 29 years old in 2027 and has a cap hit of $36.5 million. Montez Sweat is 31 years old and has a cap hit of $25 million. This is 2 years from now. Karlaftis will be 26. Sweat is 31 and is $10 million more against the cap that year. Williams for the Patriots, formerly of the Eagles, will be 28 years old and his cap hit is $30 million. Hines Allen will be 30 years old in 2 years and his cap hit is $40 million. Like, are you better with Karlaftis at $15 million and another $25 million in cap space to work with, depending on if you get those things right with the $25 million, than just Hines Allen at $40 million? Rousseau is 27 years old and he's $23 million against the cap. So he's $8 million more and a year older. And that contract I thought was really where Karlaftis would be right around Rousseau. And it's pretty close. It's pretty comparable in terms of the guaranteed dollars and the annual average value, because Karlaftis, he's getting more money. He's a year younger and has roughly the same amount of sacks. And in the last 2 postseasons, sacks, pressures, and quarterback hits, Karlaftis has the most in the NFL in the last 2 postseasons. Played in the Super Bowl last 2 years, so that helps. But also, he's getting, the last 2 years, he's got 7 sacks in the postseason. He's got 23 pressures. He's hit the quarterback 15 times. So the postseason numbers matter. So, yeah, I like the deal.
Definitely matters.
I like the deal for Karlaftis. We'll see if they get something done with McDuffie. Mick Schaefer next. All right, the 1 o'clock hour here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Mick Schaefer hanging out with us. He is sponsored by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk. Experience world-class sports facilities, including an ice rink, turf field, state-of-the-art courts, arcade games, laser tag, bowling, and sports simulators, and yes, a bar and grill. Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk, where sports and entertainment collide. Hello, Mick Schaefer.
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Love the shirt. Love the shirt.
Yeah,
looking
you
shirt.
should.
Good
Yes.
looking shirt right there. Good looking shirt right there.
It's a fine-looking
It's a
shirt.
good looking shirt.
It's a fine-looking
That's what it is. It's
Bearcat.
a Northwest Missouri State Bearcat shirt.
Going to be
You know what I
moving
mean?
them up like a week.
There you go.
There, so
You're gonna drive up, cover camp, and then head up to move them in.
I literally am
Great
doing
idea.
that.
Oh yes.
That day, I'm like, because with everything going on, it's hard to take time off. I'm like, I will be the guy in St. Joe. I will work the morning, and then I'll send stuff back, and then I will head north 40 minutes or whatever to Maryville.
So is your son going to cover camp with you?
No, I
Just
don't
stay in the
think
car.
so.
Just stay in the car. Roll the windows down.
He could. He could be scouting the competition because that's
Oh,
the
yeah,
rival,
that's right.
He could be there at
Yes.
Spratt Stadium on the campus of Missouri Western State.
I'm learning a lot about Bearcats.
They're not real, I don't think.
They are real,
Are they?
but
They're
definitely
absolutely
not in the
real, yeah.
Midwest. I don't know why
think
Missouri
there's a
and
Bearcat.
Cincinnati, they're in South and Southeast Asia, despite the name Binturongs. It's Binturong.
More like Bento Rights if
Yeah.
you look at them.
They're
how
not
they play
actually
football.
bears nor cats.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They look like bears because of their feet look like bear feet, and they have cat-like
They're
features.
not wearing shoes.
But they're
so
not
bare
closely
feet.
related
They're not?
to either animal.
I beat
And
you. I beat you, Drake. He said it looked like bare feet. Drake was going to the microphone and said, "Well, they're not wearing shoes." Damn it.
pretty neat. They have a distinctive smell.
Winning
Often compared to popcorn.
champions.
Oh, okay.
They
Smells like
smell like
champions.
popcorn. I think that we should have a Bearcat. We should have a
Go
8-tin
get
Bearcat.
I'm right here.
And so next thing you're telling me that
You do not smell like popcorn.
Well, let's go make some popcorn.
Are you telling me that a griffin's not real then too? Speaking
That
of
actually
OS?
isn't.
Well, this is real. This is a real animal.
Are you going to tell
But
me a Jayhawk's not real?
but my point here is
Whoa,
that's
whoa.
fine if you have a
Let's go
fake
from-
animal.
Are you
not really?
Did you know it?
Lame.
I did not
No,
know
Bearcats
Bearcats
are
were
real.
real.
Yeah.
So
I knew they
Bearcats
were.
are real, but it makes it almost more confusing.
Why?
It's Northwest, and these are in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so rare to see one around. It's
I
like,
think
you know,
they're. I bet they are in the northwest part of Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
I bet they.
But my
inhabit that
point
part.
is, Northwest Missouri is not Southeast Asia.
But Cincinnati is right. Is
Yeah.
Cincinnati
Is
Southeast?
that southeast though
Well,
of
it's true,
Northwest
Nick,
Missouri?
because of all the tigers running around Columbia, Missouri.
all the tigers that are around?
I
there.
have seen
How many
mini
tigers? Around,
tigers.
how many
ya?
tigers around? I love this.
I've seen mini
Bearcats-
tigers eat mini men.
Bearcats aren't even. I mean, they're not even from America.
Yeah,
I mean,
but they don't even have
well,
a directional ability.
Missouri-
It's Southeast
Missouri Tigers,
Asia,
Missouri
Northwest
Tigers.
Missouri.
It's not like the Spartans who were in East Lansing originally.
100%.
well, Lance,
yes.
like they had lances,
Yeah.
like
Nope.
Sir Lancelot.
So where are all the tigers walking around in Columbia?
The
They just
zoo?
roam- just-
Is there a zoo there?
Oh,
I don't
okay,
know.
so-
Actually, I doubt there's a zoo in Columbia.
Yeah, so tigers, cool. What about Jayhawks? Around the Wildcats are around Manhattan. It's all over the place. There's Wildcats.
There are Wildcats.
Yeah,
out there.
absolutely. K-State's like, hey, what
Feral.
about us? And then they're the ones with the weird mascot of just throwing a head on a guy with human arms and,
Yeah.
and a Wildcat head.
It
It's
does
like, whoa.
slightly scare me, if I'm
Yes,
being honest.
It's odd.
How many kangaroos are around UMKC? You think?
A lot. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just I.
Well,
I
they
was-
do have the zoo.
Sunday sound off the other last night. I had to
have the zoo.
dodge one. It was just hopping
Yes.
right across the street. Whoa! Rue up there,
I
guy,
learned.
you
That's
know?
what I learned. I did not know. I thought Bearcat was just one of those
Look at these guys.
smushed together animals that made up.
Is that a kangaroo?
That's a funny looking guy.
Oh, no, it's a bearcat. Yeah,
What is
it?
it?
Looks like a
What-
champion.
What
right
kind
there.
of animal is it?
Winner?
It's a binturong.
Which is like a what is
right.
A binturong is a
right.
primate?
well. Let me go to it. Let me try and find.
Hunts wins.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
This thing is confusing
Eats
me. It's a
losers.
mammal. It's a mammal.
I will say this.
Mammalia.
Okay. The Northwest Paw is it's a great logo. It's
Yeah, I
a kind
like
of a iconic logo.
Yeah.
It's all over the place up there.
Yeah.
And I see it more and more now. I'm like, I really, really like that logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the paw.
Good looking. Good looking.
Actually, the scientific name Arcticatus is
Nailed
I think I did actually. I'm pretty proud of
I think you
myself.
did. I'm sure
Means
you are.
bear weasel. So it actually is not a bear cat.
kind
It's
of
a bear weasel.
Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah.
It's like a meerkat.
Northwest
maybe,
bear
or-
weasels,
Yeah.
No, it's a
rise
cat.
up.
It's a bearcat. So they already.
At least use the real name that's used in Borneo, Binturong. The Northwest Binturongs.
All this because I just grabbed. This is the shirt I grabbed off the hanger today. All this because of that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, maybe you should go by the Northwest Binturongs. I think if you want to be...
Why don't you go by the Missouri Tigris? Why don't you go by the Missouri Tigris?
Tigers.
Tigers. Where do they live?
What about the Panthera?
Tigers, animal. Let's show me now Detroit.
Mizzou and K-State annoy me because they got two of the most common mascots out there.
I know, right?
We could have put a lot more thought into this.
Yeah.
Although I guess Tigers is historical, right? Because that was back to the Civil War and what they called some of their groups. So
Panthera Tigris.
Or is it Pantera?
Yeah.
Walk.
Yeah, they do. Anyway, about that, speaking of on the prowl, George Karlaftis is going to be a chief for the next 6 years. Am I right?
He was a Boilermaker.
Yeah, he was. Yep.
He is going to be a chief for the next several years. Is that
Yeah,
last
he is.
one void? I don't know. Nick,
it's 6
Nick
years.
was trying to explain it to me yesterday.
No, so he's
and I
got.
was like, I don't care. Once you get past like 8 figures, it's all the same to me. He's like, well, only 32 of it's guaranteed. I'm like, I don't care. That's not an only. Don't ever put only in front of 32 million.
I am. I'm picturing Dumb and Dumber when the cop is talking to Jim Carrey and explaining everything, and she's like, "Well, you know what happened? No, and I don't care."
That's exactly it.
It's you and
He
Nick
has to
Jacobs.
get it out too. He will not. He will preface it saying, "I know you don't care about this, but I'm going to say it anyway." I'm like, "Here we go. Here's the Karlaftis real numbers there, and here they come."
Yeah.
And so he gave him to him like, "Okay, it's just."
I mean, it's a 6-year, $110 million contract.
Yeah.
Because it's a 4-year extension after his 5th-year option. Okay. So they've got this
every
year and
time
next
they
year.
argue, all these nerds, they argue about the extension or is it a new contract? What is it? I can't sleep unless I know. Shut up.
I just said it's
go
a
to
good
camp.
deal for Kansas City.
Yeah,
I
do you
think
like
the
it,
Chiefs
Nick?
got a good
He's
deal
a
out
good
of this.
player sticking around. Yeah.
Does Nick Jacobs like it?
No.
Oh.
I don't know if I'm spilling beans there, but
Uh-oh.
no.
Well, we'll check out
Why
41
not?
with the Mike podcast.
Yeah, ask him.
Looking
No,
forward
tell
to that
me.
one.
I don't think he thinks Karlaftis is a top tier D end.
Well, he's not paid like a top tier D end.
Ninth?
When the
How many tiers?
now?
When the extension kicks in,
tiers do you have?
we just
There's
did
a lot
this.
of tears shed after. That's.
Yeah, I
you
heard.
know what? Coming out today. How about that? I got a 41 is the Mike podcast.
Yep.
When the extension kicks in, though, they're going to
Labeled
be
as one is the mic. So it says one is the mic.
Yeah.
So there you go.
at least, we think, 7 off the top of our head. By the time the extension actually kicks in 2 years, when the money is that number.
7 more.
Yeah, don't look at me. I'm not the one that made the argument. I'm like,
I know.
fine.
I'm
Good player, keep him around.
just trying to.
No, Mick,
And it's a salary cap too, so they'll be able to get around it and sign McDuffie and whoever else they
Mick,
want.
we're going to talk to you through that. You're,
Okay,
you're by
I'm-
proxy. Yes, you are a proxy there.
I'm the
okay?
Whoopi Goldberg, the ghost.
Where you are seance.
You're
Medium.
the
I'm Nick's
poltergeist.
medium.
Is Nick Jacobs in the room with us now?
Oh gosh, he is. It just scared me.
Wow, he was standing right there the whole time.
Unchained melody in the background. Why is there clay in here? This is great. But no, if there's 7, we came up with from the draft class of Karlaftis in the next year. There's 7 other guys that will get an extension that will probably be at minimum more than Karlaftis. So him being the 10th highest in annual average value.
Yeah.
Now drops to 15th, 16th, 17th highest in annual average value. And now it's okay, is that more in line with where he was going to be? Because, look, if he goes out this year and has 13, 14 sacks on the season, you paying him more next year than what you're paying him right now? I would guess that you'd have to do
worth
that.
it.
Yeah.
The it's interesting to me that still the going rate for a D end is higher than a cornerback, right? I mean,
it
just
is.
getting to the quarterback is still valued more than balls in the air. You got to go. You got to go win that battle.
Well, because the thought process, at least in my mind, is one great pass rusher can affect the entire offense
Absolutely, yeah.
and defense.
Absolutely, yeah.
One cornerback, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw the other cornerback now.
Yeah. No, it's all tied together. The to strings and all that stuff, and the D line, they make the biggest impact. And I guess he was 3rd in the NFL in quarterbacks hit last year. I think.
PFF, I think, had him 1, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought I saw Hendrickson and somebody
5.
else maybe.
And PFF, everyone has
Maybe they
their
were
own.
counting afterward in the tunnel, like, "Oh, I almost got you," and he's like,
So
get him in the
close.
shoulder, a little slug bug style.
Almost. It was right
But yeah,
there.
just maybe get hits with the ball in the hand this year more.
But
of
also,
those.
I mean, look, he's played more games the last couple of years than other guys in the postseason, but he also, in the last 2 postseasons, has the most sacks, quarterback pressures, and quarterback hits. Look, Frank Clark earned the money because of what he did in the postseason. MVS was playoff MVS. I mean, you change the way people view you because of things you do in the postseason. Now, a number of those. How many did he have against the Houston Texans last year that refused to block anybody in the second half? The whole reason
one was like just.
Yeah. He just ran.
Stroud ran out of bounds, and he's the closest. Give him a sack.
Then the other one, like they didn't even account for him. Like they're sliding their coverage, and Karlaftis just runs and's like, oh wait, nobody's even blocking me.
Hey, but you still have to do your job. You still have to bring him down. How many times you see? Oh, 100%. He just missed him. He was wide open, but he shrug out of it.
All those guys, they'll get some layup sacks. All those guys, you're not getting to 20 by blowing up 2 offensive linemen every play and flattening the quarterback all by yourself.
Yeah. Mick Schaefer hanging out with us. Scotty Scheffler wins number 4.
Yeah.
And all 4 of his majors by 3 or more strokes. The first one to ever do that in his first 4 majors. To win by that many strokes each one.
Well, back in like 19 when he was just coming on the scene and he was like a kind of a middle of the road guy, make a cut, maybe be top 10. He became my brother's favorite golfer because my brother's name is Scotty Scheffler. And we're like, what are the odds?
Great, dude.
And then this guy, unlike my brother, turned into the best at his craft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Roughly the same.
I don't know. We were talking about it on Sound Off last night of who's better in their prime, him or Tiger. And I don't think he's there yet, but there's a snapshot of 02 to 05 and 22 to 25 and if you're counting that as prime for Tiger, Scheffler wins that by a smidge.
I do think dominant level, it's Tiger, and I don't think it's fairly close. But as far as some of what you're watching, witnessing right now,
you had the Tiger Slam from 2000 to 2001.
Yeah,
he won 4 straight.
Tiger was just so dominant, and Scotty's getting there. And if you look at some of like the numbers that can, if you want to try and fit your narrative,
Scotty's
it'll work.
He's won more tournaments in that 4-year span than Tiger did.
But it was also like if you saw it, I think it was like 1,197 days from first major win to the fourth, and they were the exact same amount of days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. But
it feels like Scheffler should have more. I was saying it last night. I'm like, when he won that, I was like, okay, is that like his 6th? No, it's just his 4th. How's it only 4? Because I mean, when he doesn't win, he's right there in contention. What is U.S. Open? He hasn't won, but he's been a second in one of those. And
what's fascinating? Go ahead, Sterling.
I was going to say, I guess part of my push, and I like Scotty a lot, and so this is not a knock on him.
It's not the pure like what is Tiger's prime, right? You can take a 4-year snapshot probably anywhere, and Scheffler's going to compare with that 4, but Tiger was 12 years. What were we taking from 97 to 09 or whatever?
But
Tiger won 6 majors in 2000, 2001, and 2002.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good prime.
Yeah.
Whose iteration of competition was better though? Because
Scheffler's.
I don't know if that's true because
I do.
Who's the
all these guys were brought up because of Tiger.
No,
right?
no,
They're
I
doing
know,
this.
but I do think Liv has really done because Brooks Koepka no longer does anything. Spieth's not been super relevant. Bryson DeChambeau has been solid. But I do think he would probably be better if he was playing in every single PGA Tour event. Rory, but Rory collapses time and time again traditionally.
He's a career Grand Slam winner.
5 of them.
At one point, Tiger's rival was David Duval. Remember that?
Yeah, but the big one was
David
Phil.
Duval.
Phil Mickelson. There's not really a. Is Rory the Phil?
Yeah.
Is Rory Phil? I mean,
yeah. But I think there's a dozen other guys, if not more. Right
Dustin
there.
Johnson fell off completely. I think Liv has watered down some of the competition.
I think the money has too. I mean, I think back in the day when Tiger was becoming Tiger, the money was not multiplying exponentially the way that it is now. And I think you get into a realm like Brooks Koepka won 4, and it's like, wow, this guy burst onto the scene, and how many he's going to win. And then he got paid a lot of money. And now it's like, I don't know, how badly do I want to go out there and work? I mean, Scotty Scheffler's won 4, and he's getting paid a lot of money. And it's like, okay, he's already said this last week that, look, winning, this doesn't bring me joy. Like, I want to win. I've got this competitive drive. Why do I want to win the Open so badly? I don't know. Why do I want to win the Masters so badly? I don't know. I wake up in the morning, and I go and work, and I put in all the work. But it's to feed my family. It's for them. That's why I work. I come home and my wife thanks me for going out and working hard, and I thank her for the things that she does when I'm away. But that's really what it's about. And Tiger was about Jack Nicklaus, Jack Nicklaus, Jack Nicklaus, Jack Nicklaus. And the money, these guys are getting paid at Live. Like, okay, look, I can lay up here and finish 6th and get $1 million. I can go for it, but then I might drop back to 12 or 13. I don't know. I'm going to take my $1 million right here. Whereas, in 99, 2000, like if you weren't winning, like, okay, I need to pay for this weekend. I need to win so then I can get sponsorship so I can really pay for it because you weren't getting seven figures.
Yeah, but
by finishing top 5, top 10.
And that was, but back then, I mean, still, these guys were making great money.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. That was another way Tiger was different in that, like, it was number one. If you're not first, you're last. It was number one or nothing. Where in the 90s, I mean, look, the major winners, those guys win one every couple of years, trade off, whatever. And it was like you could make a great living being the top 10, top 20 every week, and you didn't have that kind of killer instinct attitude in golf like you have in maybe some other sports, like you have in basketball, like you have in football. These guys that are just alpha dogs that did the Mamba style, right? And then Tiger comes along, and that was him. And I think that mindset created the Spieths and the Thomases and the Morikawas, all these young guys that kind of have that attitude, whether they're in their, they're in a down spot or an up spot in their career or not. I feel like way more guys have that attitude now because of Tiger than back then, and I think he preyed on that back then of those guys.
I just wonder, like, when it gets to the point to where, it's kind of enough. It's like, you know what? I've won 5 or 6. I feel
it's got to be one of the hardest things.
And now I've got $100 million, and so it's like, am I going to put in the 8 hours a day every day like I was to get to this point, or now I'm taking 8 of those hours and I'm cutting it down to 4, and those other 4 hours I'm hanging out with my son, my other kid. We're going on more vacations. I'm doing more of the Tiger Tour, where it's sort of the Grand Slams and a couple of other tournaments along the way. Brooks stopped playing as many events and was like, well, he shows up in majors and he goes and plays well. And now it's like, what does he do? Gets paid a lot of money to play 3 rounds in the Live Tour. And so it's like, you kind of get to a point to where you kind of get fat and happy, and you're not as driven as much as Tiger was. Constant drive.
What drives probably most athletes? Winning and then money. Mm-hmm. What happens when you've got a ton of both?
Yeah.
You've won a ton. You got all the money you can ever spend. Where's the motivation coming from? And you're older. Your priorities are different. Like, I got my little guy. I want to be with him, my wife, all that stuff. Yeah, I have to imagine that's hard to kind of keep that fire going.
I think what does he need for the career?
It's the only reason the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl.
That's really what we're trying to get to. It's the reason why you worry about now Karlaftis. He's got 2 rings and $60 million guaranteed. Is he going to actually work?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
U.S.
really
Open. He finished second U.S. Open.
So he needs the U.S. Open still?
So what's Tiger at? How many? 14?
So career Grand Slam for Scheffler, then I would wonder how much does it taper off in the every single day, 8, 9, 10 hours of work. You win the U.S. Open. I got the career Grand Slam. I've got 6 or 5 majors at that point.
How long before he gets the career Grand Slam? I would say by 27.
Yeah,
I'll give him 2 U.S. Opens to go do it.
Yeah, I think he'll finish.
Tiger has 15.
Tiger's got 15.
15 U.S. Open wins alone? God, that's amazing, man.
5 Masters, 4
he got
PGAs.
to 14 by 2010, right? Is that where he got?
His last one was 19, but it was 8.
Before that,
2008
that was the one at Torrey Pines.
Mm-hmm. That's when he went to the playoff round the next day.
Was that Rocco Mediate?
Yep. Yeah. When he made the putt to send it to the playoff.
Yeah. And who
on a broken leg?
Who'd have thought it'd been that long until he would win another one? Same thing with Rory. I mean, Rory comes down the 18th hole on 2011 or 12 at Valhalla and holds off Phil Mickelson by a stroke, and he doesn't win another one until this
10
last
years,
year.
Yeah.
I mean, like he wins 4 that quickly, and then doesn't win another one for that long.
It's not built for the best player to win every week or even get close to winning every week. Yet Scheffler has kind of pushed through that ceiling, and is in contention every week. Man.
I would say it's the closest we've seen to Tiger's prime since his prime is what we're seeing with Scheffler right now, where it's just like
you have to be the best ball striker.
If Scheffler's on his game, like, you're not winning that weekend.
Yeah.
Like,
if you're the best ball striker, you're gonna always be in contention. If you can scramble, you're always gonna be in contention. Tiger was a little different because he was one of the longest as well.
But now, I mean, Tiger's distances back then would pale in comparison to anybody.
Which is funny. Tiger's distances now, even when he plays, are almost not towards the top. But I mean, they're not. It's hilarious at his age with the amount of injuries. I mean, he just still pounds the ball. But if you were that good of a ball striker, which Tiger obviously was, you're going to be in contention every single week. That's why I think Rory sometimes, I don't want to say he's a great ball striker compared to anyone, but just he sometimes gets the pulls.
Mm-hmm.
And when you pull the ball, I've never seen Scotty get the pulls where he consistently will pull the ball or miss his spot. It just, everything is so consistent. So even if he's not the best putter in the world, you're always, your amount of
this
gurs,
weekend, man. Golly.
Your grins and reg are through the roof.
How often, and I think this is part of like Scheffler is like, this is just what I do. And, my satisfaction and joy comes from being around my family. And
it's Nikola
those
Jokic.
things. But it's like, Rory at the U.S. Open, we know it's going to be tough, but he's throwing his club. Rory in the round yesterday is hitting a shot and is like, wanting to slam his club so badly. Like, I don't know, Scheffler gets up there from 25 feet to save par and buries it.
It's a great point to where, like, okay, if it's not your number one priority, you don't put that internal pressure on yourself, and you maybe perform better because of that.
Just like,
did Tiger ever throw clubs though, or do that?
Yeah, absolutely, he did. I remember people were so offended by Tiger, he cursed from time to time. It was like, why is
Tiger did a lot of that winning before marriage and kids?
I don't remember him though ever doing a.
See, marriage and kids changes things.
If
it wasn't for Tiger getting married, he would have caught Jack.
Yeah,
I mean,
they had to like all the TV networks had to have discussions about like, should we still mic these guys up or point a mic at Tiger because he's dropping bombs every other hole.
I cannot believe the curse words that are coming out of his
mouth. And now Tyrell Hatton's just
oh, that guy, yeah.
and Wyndham Clark is tearing up locker rooms.
How about Wyndham just pushing through what it was a tumultuous week and getting third or whatever?
Right. And Kevin Kisner is saying, the USGA, how do you let that picture get out? I don't know if you heard that or not.
Yeah, I did hear
locker
this.
rooms are sacred.
They're sacred. Well, then don't break them.
Yeah.
If they're sacred,
don't test that.
Don't kick in a door if they're that sacred. All right, we'll play some, not play some, but we'll get into our Learn Funniest Best on the other side of the break. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Mick Schaefer, the Drake. Heading up until 2 o'clock. Mick Schaefer presented by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk. Let's get into Learn Funniest Best from the weekend. What I learned, and I'm counting this, but I'm going to defer to Drake with his learned. So typically I have like a couple learns, but I said my learned earlier, and Drake was like, hey, that was my learned. So Drake and I will combine learns. Plus it gets through the segment, I guess, a little bit quicker, but I'm banking one of my earlier 2 or 3 learns for this one.
I think it'll help if you explain it more.
So what I'm doing is my learned is the same as Drake's, but Drake had the learned first. And I feel like if I said the learned, it'd be taking some of the,
Hold on. Just give me some time to process all this.
Yeah, steam away from his learned. You know what I mean? So what I'm doing, Mick, is handing it over to Sterling to have his learned go first. Sterling, what's your learned?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Haiku.
Unsuspecting son. Dad waiting with. Bated breath. Sets the perfect trap.
I know what my least funniest from the weekend was.
So you learned that?
I learned a haiku
joke.
I learned a haiku.
You were high. Cool.
Did you come up with that haiku?
No, I just saw it and thought it was very. I laughed. I thought it was clever.
I thought it was very learned.
So learned stands for dad jokes now?
I learned a dad joke, so
Apparently.
yeah. Does that not count? Did I not learn that?
I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever.
Am I wrong? I learned that.
We're off to a great start with my explanation of my learned and Sterling's actual learned.
I'm going to bring it home. I'm going to save
all right,
this
thank
show.
God. I can't wait for Drake's learned.
Table Rock Lake has a floating Dollar General now. Dollar General is on the water.
Wow. That is
electric.
electric.
Is it still dollar prices, or are they raised because of the...
But maybe because you're on the like gas on the water.
Yeah, like gas. The water's
right?
more
Yes,
expensive.
It's like $2 General.
It's tougher to get there, though. You'd think the prices would be cheaper.
It cruises around areas of the lake, and how often do we need stuff on the lake?
All
Quite
the time.
a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Maybe you're miles from the marina. Oh, there's a Dollar General. I'm going to go and hop on it. And there's a $2 General.
I'm going to dock next to that.
This sounds like they probably have airport prices. If I had to guess, I mean, they have to have a monopoly on this.
Absolutely. Like you're going to the movie theater.
Yeah, I mean, like a drink there's $16
maybe it should be
now.
General. Maybe it should be like it's on the water, like
$2 Admiral. Yeah. Yep. So.
Well,
$10 Admiral.
Dollar Captain.
Since you're giving my learned, I'll tell my favorite Dollar General story.
Please.
To add on to Mix here. So the transmitter site up at North Oak and Cookingham, there's no bathroom in there, but there's one across the street at Dollar General. So usually when I go up there, I stop in. I was up there one time, and the manager was out front on the cell phone. She said, "I'm sorry, you can't come in. We've been robbed." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went back the next week I was up there, and she was inside, and I said, "Did you find out who did it?" And she said it was actually raccoons. They came in through the ceiling. It was a mama and 3 babies, and they knew what the energy drinks were, and they knocked all the energy drinks on the floor to bust them open, and they were drinking the energy drinks. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. And she said, yeah, they the mama and one of the babies died. A trapper caught one of the other babies, and the last one's in here somewhere. and I said,
that's great.
Right now, with the store open, there's an over-caffeinated juvenile wild animal in here. And she's like, yeah, you see that box of cereal? It's running around in the shelves, and it knocks stuff off. And I was, okay. But my real learned was I was driving down Main and drove past Gates, and there was a video shoot going on that was well guarded by police.
Yeah, Mick, I found this. I mean,
was that Ted Lasso?
Yeah. So I said this earlier. Like, this is probably a little Jim Abbott-ish for me. Like, I didn't realize that this
Jason
weekend.
Sudeikis is from Kansas City.
Since when?
Nah, he's from Shawnee.
Since
They're
when?
probably Overland Park.
Since when?
Championship West is barely in Overland Park, but yeah.
Yeah, but where's Paul Rudd from, though? That's the big question.
Shawnee
Nobody knows.
or Overland Park?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Shawnee
Mom's
Park.
house. Everybody's been to his mom's house.
Or Rob Riggle.
It's true. I've been to his mom's house.
Have you?
Yeah.
Little.
My mom off at his mom's house.
They hang out?
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you ask him if he could play?
I said, hey, is Paul home? Can Paul play?
Can Paul come out and play? You know? No, I'm sorry. He's filming right now. Oh, he's always working. Workaholic.
You go to pick her up. Your mom's like, 5 more minutes.
Oh, I don't want to go. We're in the middle of a game. Can we stay the night? Can we have a sleepover? Sterling, can I have a sleepover?
It is funny that his mom is British. I don't know why, but when you hear the British accent, it always makes me laugh a little bit.
Yeah. So a little Jim Abbott-ish but I'm like, I didn't realize that they were filming this weekend in Kansas City, around Kansas City.
That's not
and thank you.
Comparison, no.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Sterling was, scolding me and telling me how dumb I was about a number of things, and this as well.
Mm-hmm.
And because I saw the pictures of Juneau Temple and Hannah Waddingham at Gates that were there filming for Ted Lasso, I'm like, damn, I wish I'd have known. I'd have gone by the Gates. Now, I know they probably couldn't go in there and shop while they're there, but still.
They did a real casting call, and then there's like a fake casting call where people got scammed, and there was the whole
That's what
ordeal.
Drake said. Yeah, I was like, well, I wish I would have been a part of the real casting call. It would have been awesome to go and, I just get to eat at Gates while getting paid as an extra. I don't even need to get paid. It's just the free food is payment enough. And just be around there with Keely Potts, is near you. That's cool,
I just
too.
keep thinking
It's
about
kind of a payment as well.
Drake of Cocaine Bear. You've seen Cocaine Bear. How about Energy Drink Raccoon?
Yeah.
That could
really
be part.
should be
That could be part 2.
Yeah,
part 2.
Would be great. But yeah, that was going on yesterday at Gates. I saw the pictures floating around on my timeline during the show today.
Okay, good.
So that ended up being my learned, and I'm like, well, I don't want to take the the steam away from Drake's learned.
Sure.
Funniest. We'll start with you this time, Sterling, on funniest.
Okay, so I was
Was
at
it a haiku?
my friend's. My best friend, he married his wife is from Colombia.
Oh.
From
you were
Colombia.
He married his wife. So I was like, what?
Yeah, well, she's from Colombia, the country.
Missouri. Oh.
And so all of her friends from Colombia were up. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. But there is, at times, a slight language barrier.
You think?
Spanish and English, just a
slight?
little.
Okay.
Well, they all
Oh,
speak
slight.
English too, but I don't speak Spanish.
Okay.
They know very much what English, Spanish, their perfect language. Me, I know no Spanish. No hablos español.
Seems like not a lot of English right now.
Yeah, no hablos español. So there's a food in Bucaramanga, which is in Colombia, and it is called hormigas colonas, which is big-ass ants. They're just ants, and they were pulling a prank on me, because I said, yeah, I kind of they're fine. It tastes like popcorn, but the guy said,
Wait till you try this uncle.
no, this guy goes, I didn't speak Spanish. He was like, basically, do you like colonas? And which is basically
Big
ass or big ass. And I was like, yeah, it tastes like popcorn.
Depends.
And so I was basically saying, yeah, it tastes like popcorn. And everyone just stopped and starts cracking up. And I'm like, what did I say? And they explained it to me that I was not basically saying that I think that the ants taste like popcorn. I was basically saying that.
I see. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
right. Did it, though? Did it taste like popcorn?
The big ass ants did. Yes.
Okay.
They do taste like popcorn, in my opinion.
Okay.
So you knew you were eating ants.
Yeah.
Okay. The funny part was you just...
The language barrier. They're basically basically saying that,
What did the colon taste like?
Yes, basically.
And
And
you
I
said it
said,
tastes like
I said
popcorn.
popcorn, and I thought I was saying the ant
Gotcha.
taste like
Yeah.
popcorn. Instead, I was. So learn languages before you start speaking other
don't,
languages.
sure. Or don't.
you wouldn't have hilarious stories like
Yeah.
that to tell.
I thought it was very funny. It was very funny when you were there.
Do you have a haiku for it?
Big ass ant, popcorn, taste.
Is it 353? What is it?
Mick, what's your funniest from the weekend?
I don't know. I can top that. It was a tweet. Somebody said, "What does Rory need to shoot on Sunday to win?" And somebody wrote underneath, "Scotty."
I love those when people
That's funny.
respond. What does he need to shoot, Scotty?
Scotty.
That's right. He would have needed to shoot other people too, but that's a good start.
Yes.
It's a good starting point if you take him out. Gosh, finishing the second place would have been amazing. Second place finish. If Scotty did not compete yesterday,
Right.
the finish would have been awesome.
Yeah, Daddy said that last night.
I
on the
know.
news
That's why I was trying to think of who said it. I'm like, that's right.
Yeah.
You said it. It was either Todd or Daniel. It probably wasn't you because it was a very smart thing to say.
Right.
So
I want Gotterup to win a.
Yeah, I know.
What a great name for golf.
I would have
name.
Hai Tong Lee.
Yeah, he was fun to watch. Scheffler said something to him that was freaking hilarious.
They
I don't know
were
what it
loud.
was.
They were yucking it up that whole.
I don't know
back
what
nine.
it was, but Lee thought it was like the
Right
funniest
after
thing.
he chipped in.
The funniest thing that
Putted
anyone's
in.
ever said.
By the way, how about USA just destroying the Open?
Yeah,
that's fun.
Too
That's
bad
awesome.
they can't do that in the Ryder Cup.
Yeah,
They're
cool.
going
Let's
to
just
this
have
year.
that carry
Are
over
they?
to the Ryder Cup. Yeah, we'll see.
Are they?
Yeah, we'll
Because
see
they've
when
been
that
owning
happens.
the Open for what they say 26 of the last 33 have been U.S.
Yeah.
Winners.
Have they been owning the Ryder Cup, Sterling?
They're going to this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
They're all in.
Drake, what's the funniest for you from the weekend?
Well, my wife is not interested in sports at all and doesn't know a lot about it. And we were having a conversation, and she was demonstrating her lack of sports knowledge. And as we're talking, I decide to share it with Todd. So I get up my phone and I send him a little text, and I say, my wife has a friend with a kid who got drafted in the 8th round by San Francisco as a pitcher this year. She wanted to know when the Giants were coming this season so we could go watch him play.
Ben Bybee.
And I hit send on it, and my wife's phone goes bling. And she takes it out, and she's like, "Who are you texting this?" Oh no!
You was son of a. I'm just texting myself. Oh man, that's the worst.
We've all done that. We've all been thinking about somebody and sending a text to somebody else and send it.
Luckily, that's not that bad. I mean, there have been some other texts that may have gone
I've
out
seen
that
it
were
where
bad.
a guy got fired, or basically he quit because of it.
I've seen
the workplace.
I've seen a guy.
Was it Ben Bybee?
I think so. Yeah, out of Arkansas.
I was at an Arkansas kid from
Yeah.
Blue Valley Southwest. I was at his house the day after going to the Giants. So,
Did you see if he could play?
Huh?
Did you ask if he could play? Did you have a
Learn
sleepover?
funniest best?
Did you have a sleepover with him? Like,
oh yeah.
Sterling was at Paul Rudd's.
The best part was, as I was leaving, Mom showed me a clip from the 2015 Royals Parade where Mike Maruzars interviewed 12-year-old Ben Bybee for like a minute and a half.
Related to Tanner, by the way?
Maybe. Older brother? I think he's got an older brother.
The pitcher, Tanner Bybee, right?
No, it's not that Bybee family. This is B-Y-B-E-E.
Oh, yeah, that's a B-I-B-E.
Mm-hmm. And so he
that's crazy. What are
and
the
so
odds
we
of that?
went and found the clip and aired it.
What are the odds of that? Like you just happen to have an
Pretty
interview
low.
with 12-year-old. Is it? I need somebody to actually.
And they
I'm
asked
actually
him 'cause-
wondering.
And they were talking about Salvador Perez. They're like, "Is Salvador Perez your favorite player?" Yeah. Are you a catcher? He goes, "No, I'm a pitcher." Sure enough, he's a pitcher.
Do you hate the Giants as much as everybody
so
else?
He had a great soundbite. He's like,
F the Giants. I hate
he loves
the
them
Giants.
now. Loves them now.
Giants are the worst. I'll never play for the Giants. I know that. I don't care how much money they offer me in the 8th round. If it happens to be the 8th round 10 years from now, I'll never play for them.
It's like Dallas Goedert, who's named after the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, really?
His dad was
And
a
now
huge
he's an
Cowboys fan. Now he's an Eagles fan. He's like, well, it's kind of fun now.
Yeah.
And I love it. He goes, when they chant Dallas sucks, at least know they're not talking about me.
It's pretty funny. My funniest from the weekend is all of the different kiss cams that turned into Coldplay kiss cams. I don't know if you saw that or not, but they did Coldplay
Can't turn
kiss
your phone
cams
on.
where they were going around and they would have a guy holding his wife, and then the kiss cam would get to him, and then they'd have to run away. Just kept doing it around the whole stadium. And then the Phillies mascot was doing it as well. That was pretty good. They are really, really cashing in right now.
And then AI, you can type in whatever you want. I saw Donald Trump holding Hillary Clinton. So,
Really?
Yeah, yes.
I thought that was
Maybe
real.
that wasn't AI. Maybe they
That was
reenacted
probably
it.
real.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a reenactment of
Those
what it is.
political elites, they hang out.
You know
all
what
the
you
time.
what you don't realize is DC, when they get behind the scenes, they're all friends. They're like,
They
hey,
are.
hey, remember when I said all those things about you in the media? That was funny. Drinks on me. I got you. I got his drinks. We're all
They actually are
we're all
all
just real
closer
friends.
to each other than you'd think.
We're all just real friends. It's all
Probably.
performative, is what it is. Best for you, Mick Schaefer.
I had a wedding Saturday night, and
Congrats.
this lady comes up to our table, sits by me, and we've talked before about like more people know me from radio than TV. She's like, "I think I know you." And I'm ready. I'm bracing myself. Here we go. It's gonna be radio, TV.
Which one?
She's like, "Are you a pharmaceutical sales rep?"
Actually,
I was like, no, that's a first, but no, I wish I was, and everybody was laughing.
that's so great.
Yeah, it was great.
Was she put up to it by somebody?
Maybe
That
I
would've
don't
been
know.
funny,
I like any sort of attention, whether it's accurate or not.
Yeah, that is great, though. I know you. I know. Okay.
I thought I saw you at a conference.
TV. Yes, I know. You were in Cedar Rapids, right? Drake, what was the best for you?
Cedar Rapids.
Evidently they've caught these alleged burglars that were hitting the homes of sports stars.
The raccoons?
Yeah, raccoons.
The 7 Chilean guys. But I just love that one of the reasons they caught them is they were posting selfies after the burglaries.
Yes.
It's so stupid.
You
man.
can't get. I
It's
mean,
like, what are you doing? Why are we doing this?
Like,
It's like
what is the
Shadur-
picture like?
The Shadur
Just
Sanders.
rob these guys.
Yes, you can't prove it. Like, it's right here.
they pranked
not even
Shadur
real.
Sanders too, and then
Yes.
put that video out.
Put it out on.
Idiots.
It's ridiculous. My best from the weekend was yesterday at the trophy ceremony at the Open. Scheffler's son trying to walk up to the green. And as he's getting closer to getting to the green, walking up the hill, then he face plants and then tries to get up again. But the best part
He's so uncoordinated. He won't be like
I mean,
his
it's
dad.
like, come on, man. How does this clearly he got that from his mom. I mean, obviously. But the best part is the crowd chanting as he's walking. They're like, he falls. And then he's starting to get up like, Everybody's focusing on this 1-year-old child trying to walk up to the green while Scotty Scheffler's holding the trophy and walking over to pick up his son.
Did you see the picture that's going around? He's hugging his wife, and the kid's got his hand out and his head thrown back with his binky in, like kind of furrowed his brow at the crowd. Like, what? We do this every week.
What is the big deal?
What's the big deal?
Yes. How many times I'm hugging my dad, holding trophies, and my mom here? This is what we do. Sterling, what was the best for you?
We played a game of Who Will the Baby Crawl To? That was pretty fun.
Did you take bets?
Yeah,
and all that
yeah.
stuff?
You put the baby down, and then
who was the baby? Did you find one, or is this a friend of yours?
We just found
the baby. Yeah,
it was at the birthday party. Shockingly, the baby did go to the mom.
Oh yeah.
The dad was not thrilled by that. Obviously,
Get
just
used to
trying
it,
to
dude.
really. We were trying to confuse the baby, and the baby was just slowly. It was almost like a movie. Like it would take one step, then like look around. It felt the pressure, and it felt the.
so
it was
dumb.
playing up to the crowd,
or he or she, or it. It was walking though, wasn't crawling.
No, it was crawling.
Oh, crawling.
It was like it's like
3-year-old?
9 months old. It's pretty young. It's pretty slow.
And tasted like popcorn.
Jesus.
A lot of popcorn, Bearcats, huh?
Apparently. I guess more zone next, maybe. All right, so some news out of college football that came down a little bit ago this hour, updated about 10 minutes ago, and that is from Ross Dellinger that the Memphis Tigers, not Bearcats, but the Memphis Tigers have proposed.
Real quick, I bet the original Memphis, there are tigers around there because that's in Egypt, right?
Yes, absolutely. Memphis has proposed a lucrative offer to join the Big 12. Hundreds of millions of dollars. The proposal from Memphis features hundreds of millions of dollars in sponsorship commitments to the Big 12 from UM-affiliated corporate partners. The offer to the league is expected to be as high as $200 million over the next 5 years.
Wow.
It's a serious enough endeavor. The league presidents met today to discuss the offer, but the proposition is not believed to have the necessary support for now.
So that'd be 17 in the conference?
Multiple sources spoke to Yahoo under the condition of anonymity, which is the latest and most serious chapter in the school's effort to move out of the American and into one of the 4 power leagues. This effort began more than a year ago, and then Big 12 officials are in the midst of exploring the proposal, but league-wide support is not there yet.
For football, you almost have to join one of the Big 4. Basketball doesn't matter, but football, you need to be.
But they are willing to pay upwards of hundreds of millions of dollars to join the Big 12. Smart.
I'll take it. I'll take that money.
I'll take the money.